Fairly well. There we go. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Lendoth. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Apparently, my vMix does not like my microphone, but it's okay. I'm Lendoth, and I'm joined by...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Of course, it's myself, MadDante Killer, joining you again for another week of the WEL7. Very excited to be back. Just before we get into the games and such, so these will be the best of threes, but we'll discuss those in a little bit. We do just have a quick little video for anyone kind of looking to join or interested in the Welsh national team and such as well. So we'll fire that off first, and then we'll be right back to talk about the game. So check this out first.
We're going into the grand final of the CSGO tournament here.
You won't believe what just happened. IESF announced their official game titles for 2025.
No way, what games are on the list?
Mobile Legends Bang Bang, eFootball, CS2, Dota 2, and PUBG Mobile.
All the games you need, really?
If you do have any interest to represent Wales for a national team at this ESF tournament, please join the Welsh Esports League, the Esports Wales Discord, and register your interest and keep an eye out. And yeah, other than that, MadDante, what do we think of today then?
Yeah, so it's going to be very, very exciting. So as I said, we're jumping into the best of threes first of all, but before we kind of get into any of that, we'll have a look at the standings just before, because if anyone has missed any of the previous weeks, first of all, you have missed some incredible shenanigans, both incredible highs and amazingly low lows. So do give them a look respectively. Won't say, of course, which teams are which. You can decide for that yourselves. But yeah, we do look through it. So Group A, Ponies, 12 commanding charge, and then everyone else on 6. Meanwhile, the Group B, little bit more of an even standing.
Yeah, Group B, to be honest, this has been a battle of titans. To be fair, I feel like this is the closest we've ever had for a Welsh Esports League. Usually a lot of these players are coming in as absolute, fresh out the block, coming into structured Valorant. However, this, it feels a little bit more fluent, and people are starting to get to the gist, and a lot of closer games. You can see, I think this might be some of the closest scores, especially on that Group A side. But it's no surprise that the Pit Ponies are just leading by 12, as these guys, they've been to the finals many times, but sometimes struggle with their feet to actually close it out. But they are, previous champions, so to be fair, there's not a whole lot you can do about that one.
No, sometimes it can be difficult. And now if we look at the bracket very quickly, just to see how the the travels and such will go. So the Pit Ponies and the Puffins, and then the Pirates and the Wolfhounds. So that will be the bracket. Of course, then the winners will go on to the finals, and then the losers will jump in to face each other in the challengers as well. So that will be everything kind of in terms of that. So there's quite a lot in terms of potential upsets, or just run it backs, as you were saying, Lendoth. Both teams, are basically all 4 of these teams, are showing really commanding promise, and the Puffins and the Wolfhounds have been essentially namesakes almost for the WEL, but that's not came with any sort of guarantee.
No, and to be fair, it's going to be an absolute, battle of the showdown today. As as you can tell, we are covering the Pit Ponies versus the Puffins, and these two teams have been battling out semi-finals for like 3 seasons straight now. So it's good to see another rematch. I always see LJPH and Chewy always talking to each other about it on Twitter and in the Discord server, always having a good laugh. And to be fair, I think this is the first time I've seen either team on bind. As usually, God bless, it's usually a send. That's all I'm going to say.
We have made our opinions about the map pool kind of, I think everyone knows them pretty well by now, and I think a lot of people do agree, at least to some extent. But speaking of the map pool, very quickly, as you can see, we're already in the agent select. We've already got an entire lock-in for the side of the Puffins on bind. We're just getting the rest of the Pit Ponies now getting locked in. But yes, just to quickly run through the map pool, Ponies had banned Abyss, Puffins banned Haven, Ponies banned Pearl, Puffins banned Split. Ponies then picked bind. Obviously, then we see the Puffins on defense first. We will then actually be going into Fracture, with finally Lotus being a send-off. So quite a varied map pool, to be honest. Lendoth, any particular things kind of showing up to you? You already mentioned the teams not really... We've not seen them on bind just yet, so that'll be interesting.
Bind is... To be fair, I've always said this. Bind is an IGL's dream. Like, this map itself, about 4 lanes on each side, and it's very easy. It's at the end of the day, it's who shows up the best and who's making the better calls, and if you have the better reads. And I'm very excited to see how this is going to go. And then obviously on the other maps, especially on a map like Fracture, where it's very, attacker decided for that final map, to be fair. But let's hope, one of these teams can close out soon. But let's be real, we want to get that map 3. We want to see these two people go head to head. And it was actually the Puffins, if I do believe, that got the 1921 against the Pirates in the second week of this Swiss stage, I believe, or it might have been the first week. However, that's still, an all-time record high. So we know that this Puffins roster can produce a fight when needed. It's just how far they're going to go out to get it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we do see quite an aggressive even start up towards this B side. Usually in Bind, it's pretty confident to just go for an A hit. You kind of work out how the teams are going to play. But as we've said, now we've finished the Swiss stage and everything. If the teams have done their homework, they may actually understand, how they're going to be playing against each other, which is why we do see starting off this quite aggressive B commit. We already see LJPH playing around the flash from Sky, which we're not going to see just from the moment yet. At the very least, Distex is a little bit late with it. Actually flashes his teammate, never mind. Beautiful turn off of it, and that is the spike gathered, and everyone from Distex just dropping like flies. That is one of the fastest pistol rounds we've seen so far.
Yeah, that must be a new record. I literally blinked and Distex had 4 kills somehow, but that was very well done. Nicely done. Walked up on that B long there and took the initiative, and Sky just did Rascal's job for him and said, I'll just drop 4, how about that? And it worked very well.
Yeah, it did, and Ace0 as well. I mean, look at that, 4 assists as well. So in terms of it, very much a 2-man showing from Ace0 and Distex. And yeah, if you're the ponies, you now understand what you're going against. You're going to go against very coordinated, very cohesive team play. Even whenever the team flash did come out, it was still turned, and we now see this immediate fight towards Showers. So immediately we go from all the way in B long to LJPH trying to take down Rascal and gather any sort of space here. Ace0 ready to walk into 3 members of this team with the Stinger is good for 1 and back, so he understands that the Alt Orb is not going to be able to get stopped, and that is going to be a loss for them, but at least control has been made, and so far no guns given up.
No guns given up, and to be fair, that's quite ambitious from Ace0 there to actually go into that and not get punished by the 3 people holding the orb grabber. It seems that their confidence is very high coming into this series, and it's what you need, because we're going to start getting to the stamina part, and how well can you perform consistently over a duration of 3 maps, and whether or not your map is prepared. There's a lot of questions and a lot of answers you're going to need. But it looks like that the Puffins so far are feeling very confident as Ilja Play takes down LGPH, and Lugia trying to get the trade but can't. 20 HP now is going to back out, and we're in a 4v2 scenario. KYCA sneaking up Showers. I don't think the Puffins expect this, but the flash seems to be going into Showers, and KYCA instantly taking that care of.
Indeed, cleaned up by Distex, and we're already starting to see, the Seekers, are starting to maybe already come online. Look, 5 out of 8 already for a very powerful ultimate, particularly on defense, is something to be talked about. And now kind of jumping into the comps, because we haven't had much time to really talk about the comps. We obviously see Cypher. Cypher's the Sentinel, just you pick Cypher, that's just it. That's still guaranteed. Tejo has now started to really find his positioning. The utility is just slow enough that even if you don't get hit by it, it's still a colossal pain. Brimstone, very solid pick on Bind just because the map is that kind of tighter angle. And then we see the change in kind of the double initiator from the Puffins. Meanwhile, Yoru being picked up instead of this guy, and Rascal getting that 140 shot, but that's why the Outlaw is sometimes not your insta-buy that some people believed it was going to be.
Kobe, on the other hand, taking down Ace0, getting that punish from the aggressive hookah play, and now the Puffins seem to be down in a disadvantage. Distex fighting together with Rascal backside the Outlaw and Bulldog combo, working together, doing the damage. LJPH is going to trade out and make it. And now LJPH again through the wall, a 4v2. Now Puffins are going to have a lot to do, but the Tejo mollies coming in, and it's very good that those Tejo mollies, because they can really deny that plant and give you no info. Well, not no info, but it kind of gives you a lot of info because it shows where the rocket's coming from. I don't know why I said no info, but anyway, KYCA is going to be fighting off this drone as Chewy and Tejo now have to do a 2v4 with the lower buy.
Yeah, exactly, and we already see quite a lot of space being controlled. We do see that Brim lurk all the way from the back of the pit ponies, which, yep, kind of standard on Bind. If you've got the all the room, all the space in the world to get the spike planted, which they absolutely had, then yep, you can just kill as much time, use the Brim lineups and the mollies. So far, what I do really like is KYCA has likely used the advantage and the information that they've already had. Particularly as well if Egnor's able to pick up those 2 last kills, but KYCA has had enough information gathered over the course of this game so far that they know flanking isn't quite on the cards, at least just yet, for the ponies. So they do have all that space control. You are aware that you can stick LJPH all the way in that back line, and 90% of the time, at least so far, you're not going to get punished for it.
This goes here.
No, to be fair, the punishment there is not going to be, exactly how it is, but looking now towards the Puffins, losing that round, they did get a few guns down. There's a few light shields from the side of the Pit Ponies, but just Exes again, we've seen them go through this, flashing down that long, grabbing that orb, one off this sky ult, so it's going to be really good to get info. Egner going to be burning this drone, trying to figure out what exactly just happened, is going to spot Sky, and now LJPH knows that Sky has their ult. Now, to be fair, if you're in the Puffins here, you're kind of chilling. You have all this shower control. If we look on the minimap here, very nicely timed. Rascal, KYCA and Rascal about to have a nice fight and nicely swung. KYCA did not expect that swing, and it seems the Pit Ponies are not having a good start. LJPH expecting an extra push out, going a bit for more, but that's not going to be the case. And the call now has been to pivot towards A0, rotating, all ready to B. This is a big contact now. Guess one is traded out by LGPH, and now there's only one inside. They have no showers control, and they heard the Rascal satchel, but Teho coming down. Can Egner take down the Rascal? He's been a bit slimy, managed to take down KYCA, and Rascal is going to be taking out Egner. Very nicely done, and now we're in a 2v4 retake again, but this time for the side of the Puffins.
Here we go, and now Kobe trying to swing off will get shut down by Rascal. LJPH kind of stuck in this backline on their own. That spray is not going to be, unfortunately, enough for the ponies. The molly, of course, is there, but there is plenty of time on that spike. There will not be enough time just yet, and that has given away clear, pivotal information for the Puffins. They know now that the post-plant lineups are going to be played. Those post-plant mollies are needing to be considered. That does give you two vital pieces of information. A, it means the spike has about, I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Lendoth, 5 less seconds. I believe the molly lasts for. I believe it's roughly that figure. Maybe it's only 3. But with the alternative as well, you don't have to worry about Brim taking fights on site, because he's all the way in the background, aiming at the sky.
Yeah, true. But to be fair, if you're also, retaking that side, that is going to be a heavy one, because not only are you going to have to fight the Brim and make sure he doesn't use that molly, you're also going to have to wait for it, because if he has shot, you're going to have to sit there and wait for it to go out. And, every tick matters for this spike. And if they have no time, then unlucky. You're just going to have to go and save and keep the weapons if you can. But to be fair, now looking towards this and grabbing this orb now, the Pit Ponies are on a lower buy. And Rascal instantly punishing Lugia with this outlaw. The Puffins are looking dangerous.
Rascal's just falling, and a respect to that trigger discipline as well. Doesn't fall for the initial Yoru clone from Lugia, which was very well played from Lugia. Just the call-out was absolutely there, and the Outlaw now we are seeing the damage it can do. So far it has been very much the Puffins show, as you'd mentioned, and look again, this aggressive positioning. Chewy understands that they can give up lamps completely for free as long as this Showers control is taken. They know they have the econ advantage as well, and the timing, unfortunately, Kobe just has to try and reload as LJPH falls. The salvos are going to come down. Chewy now getting caught out though. The timing, but Kobe panics, doesn't get the shots. Indeed, at least the salvo can follow up enough, but now there's only one thing left to do, unfortunately, and that is to fall to Distex. Beautiful hold from the Puffins.
Yeah, the Puffins are just, to be fair, they're just taking these fights and they're all looking very, very confident. It just seems like the Pit Ponies are having a rough start trying to get into this game. LGPH doesn't seem to be making a lot of reads that I can see. And it just looks like, the Puffins are just confident in mechanical skill and they're getting out-aimed. And now the Pit Ponies are either going to have to, start building that momentum, call the timeout to slow down this momentum. Because, if they don't win this round, they need that timeout.
Yeah, exactly. You are going to be struggling now. I mean, the ultimates are starting to come online. We see the Pit Ponies immediately here. The Puffins are going to go 1-for-1 with the showstopper. Distexy, again, there's no minor commitments here. If one member is doing something aggressive, you're guaranteed at least one other member of the Puffins are going to be following that up. So the Ponies basically lose this round before it even began. That is quite a bit of a deficit you have to work with. We see 2 members of the Puffins just on that A site, 2 towards the B site, and Cypher still alive. That's Chewy been such a pain for the side of the Ponies. They can't just take any space whenever you have to worry about all that Cypher setup, which to the point actually now Chewy's even been left alone, and now it's a 3-person hold on this site. They're likely going to maybe try and Cypher trip and maybe try and get through that teleport. We've yet to see. No, they're going to commit to this A site.
No, this A site now, and the plant coming down now for the side of the Pit Ponies, but it just isn't going to be enough. The Puffins are so ready for this, and Kobe now is going to walk into the smoke. And does Ilja expect this? Walks in through. No, they do not. Taken down by Kobe now in a 1v2. Puffins, they know Skies and Lamps, and they know Cypher isn't here, so must be on B. Grabs the spike and taps the bomb, trying to find something. You know, in this 2v1 scenario, you are going to need to take the fight. But to be fair, the call is brilliant. They are not going to move. They're going to just do an up over, you know, and now they know exactly what the plan is. Dysexy, though, is 1 HP. Is going to be able to get one, but Chewy, very nicely done. Traded exactly like that, and that was a beautiful round from the side of the Puffins.
I mean, incredible. And this is the ponies have been seeing glimpses. There has been like executes and things, but for the most part, to be honest, the Puffins are preventing that from even starting. You would normally expect someone like Kobe, followed up by Lugia, you know, let's go for the most basic attack on bind with this kind of setup. You would have the raised satchels from main that go into lamps to try and take that spatial control. You could then have Lugia doing anything from fighting showers, because he can teleport obviously then into main, or he can do a similar follow-up with his dimensional drift as well. He can ult and try and take that lamps control. There seems to be no real concern from the Puffins about losing it, to the point that Kobe equips a rocket launcher and doesn't matter about anything else. Elijah at least is going to get shut down, and the trades are going to be there despite the econ not really working out for the ponies. The Puffins do even commit that Armageddon. The ultimate comes through. Lugia now trying just to find any space to do, but it's only with a stinger, and KYCA unfortunately hasn't even came out of the showers just yet, and he's going to be stuck there trying to work around these cages as best he can. But if the Puffins, you know, if they keep playing the way they have been, there may be one fall, but Chewy will absolutely shut that down.
And now 6-1 to the Puffins. The Pit Ponies are going to have to call a timeout here. We're going to have to slow it down. Exactly what LGBH is doing. You need to slow down this momentum. And to be honest, I feel like it is doable. It's very controversial on which side, like the defender side, attacker side of the map. I would say more that I'm more confident in my own skin to play defense on this map. As, you know, if you, like you were saying earlier, if they took Showers control, you know, they don't have long control, and it's really nicely done. And if you just take one and, you know, leave the other, by the time they actually comes to the retake or comes to taking site, there's too many angles that they have to defend from. They have to burn smokes. If you take down someone in Showers, then easily done. You know, you can just hold that site and make sure they don't come out of that main. But that's just from my experience. Now, attack-sided, it can be hard if you know, especially if they start building out momentum. It can be really, really hard to start coming back into the round and knowing exactly what to do. But if you're now the Pit Ponies, you need to look and understand exactly what's going on. But it's very important we're keeping mentally resilient here, because these are the rounds that matter. And if we lose this round, the Puffins are going to have a really nice, probably 8-1 lead.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's going to favour them as well. And building off of just what you said in terms of the ponies, it's even more important that the ponies do keep their mental, because this was their pick. This was their pick initially, so to pick your map and so far have such a confident showing from the Puffins as well. Not only that, the ponies are more attacking kind of centric. They do have that double duelist rather than the Puffins double initiator, sorry. So that's even another thing to consider, that in theory the ponies should be picking up as many rounds as possible on this half, because that defense is going to be slightly weaker, and so far the Puffins are just preventing any of that happening.
You know, it's really nicely done from the Puffins. I was actually very surprised with how, you know, the improvement has been from the last time we saw them. I believe we saw them lose last time in this scenario, and it was very, you know, very sad to see. However, it's all good. You know, they've reflected on this, and they're coming back into the season, and now we can see exactly all the improvement, and it's all coming out to show.
Yeah, exactly. Now, that's a different level of control right there, but never mind. Speaking of different level of control, Rascal doesn't even need to turn the flash, but does anyway. Ace Zero immediately then following it up. We do see, of course it is, that Brimble is online. There is going to be the Molly as well. Ace Zero actually shutting it down essentially with their own, forcing it out quite early by preventing that garden control. Maybe makes the lineup slightly difficult as well for LJPH, just because you don't have the exact thing. The attempted body block of the Molly, it's not going to be enough. If anything, that may have lost Ace Zero and co an additional second that you really can't afford. Now KYCA just sitting in this elbow, and that spike is ticking down pretty scarily. There's going to be a double swing here. LJPH trying to distract as much as possible, but Ace Zero's just sticking. The swing will come through, and finally they get something on the board. Pit Ponies finally making themselves a second round on there.
Second round now coming for the Pit Ponies, and that's really important that they win that, to be fair, and winning that in that fashion is just really well done. I'm not really looking forward to seeing how this goes down for the Puffins when they switch to attack, but if the Pit Ponies now can get 3 or maybe even 4 you know, a nice 5 if we're being, you know, a little bit cheeky. However, Rascal seems to be just really dominant on that elbow space, especially with that Phantom holding when they're coming out of that smoke.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that swing, that hold from Rascal, that was just complete mechanical confidence. That was just crosshair placement. That was everything you could ever hope from and expect. But the ponies now, they do have that bit of momentum going. They've got the econ and such going for them. They don't have the ultimates quite as much. We are seeing, obviously, the Neural Theft and the Seekers from the side of the Puffins. That is the Cypher and Sky ults respectively, and then the Pit Ponies don't really have too much more to work with. They have been playing the ult economy very well in terms of making sure that shower control's basically been grabbed, I'd say about 70% of the time, which we do even see, you know, happening right now in terms of Kobe sitting towards that shower control. So here we are now. I really would like to see a very fast push. We see the salvos coming out, the teleport from Lugia, there it is. There will be an immediate trade out though, but at least some space has been gathered. Kobe from that shower's control and Lugia, that's what you want to see. You want to be seeing your both duelists taking two completely different angles, winning their fights and playing off of each other. That is the Pit Ponies that we come to expect to see and what we want to see more of.
And that, yeah, to be honest, that's a really nicely way of putting it, and that's exactly, you know, it seems like they're starting to come alive. They had a really slow start, and LGBH has been spotted. They know the Sky's flank, and they've hit the Cypher trick. Now they both know both his flank. Flash comes through to the main. Nice concuss. Is LGBH going to play off it? No, but Distex is looking for LGBH. And in the corner, LGBH nicely done. Really, you can see when he's taking that fight, he's confident. He's taking his time. He's not feeling any pressure, rather than some people would just, you know, immediately crouch spray and commit to that fight. So to be fair, looking at that perspective from my end, I can tell that, you know, I can see kind of how he's feeling. I know he's, you know, feeling confident. He's taking his time. He's like, okay, you know, we might have been down 6 rounds, but, you know, we're still in the game. And that's the LGBH I've come to know, and really mentally resilient. And this is really good now for the Pit Ponies. And if they can just build this momentum and try and get something from this half.
And that's exactly what they can do, and that's 2 back-to-back. So losing those 4 rounds initially may have just been them scouting out. I mean, even looking at, you know, just some of the scoreboards and such we have seen, the amount of value that someone like Ace0 is getting, you know, 12 assists on Brim, that's not exactly the most common thing. That just does go to show how well the smokes are being played off of. Speaking of, though, Ace0 is not going to get another assist. That is the smokes dead and gone, and not even 20 seconds have passed. I love the change of pace that we've seen from the ponies. They've all of a sudden capitalized that this shower's control, they seem to get that. Ace becomes a lot easier. Ilja play then loses quite a lot from the salvo, trying to gain all the space that they can. But there we go again. Rascal has been such a... I'm not going to say it, but you know what? You can finish that line yourself in your own head. I'm sure you can make that joke as well. But Rascal has been an absolute pain for the side of the ponies. So now the Puffins do have that bit more of control. And the ponies been slowed down quite some bit.
Yeah, to be honest, what you could have said is Rascal's been a Vice thorn to mess with, and, you know, even though he's not playing Vice, you can still see that Vice is being a thorn. Nice little thorn in the bush there. However, that's what I got from it. I don't think he would have said anything silly there, you know.
I was just going to say he's being a rascal in their backlines, and that's always what's happening. It's a bit more self-explanatory.
I thought so, to be honest. But look at this again. You see what I'm talking about? This hookah control that they keep in Distex. Finishing Lugia, they need to clear him out. It's all about this 2 space here, and, you know, the bunkered up Cypher, and now the bomb's going down. And this is a really hard post plant to win if you're the Pit Ponies. The only way you're going to win this is if you can kill this CT guy, and then, you know, you just play a 2v2 and make sure they don't come out like that. After that, you have all the space you need. They've already seen Sky in there, and they probably already know Cypher's in there, so... But the Rascal ult is going to come out. Are they going to clear Tube? Yep, KYCA is going to trade now, making it doable for Tejo. And unfortunately, Distexy is just taking down Egner, and that is going to be a 7-3 lead for the side of the Puffins.
Distexy has just been so terrifying so far. Their shots have been just on the ball 24/7, refusing to miss. Incredible stuff from them. It's good to see that level of confidence and that level of just, you know, play. That's not even really arrogance anymore. That aggression. Look at the stats that we are seeing come up from the Puffins. You know, that is a team that is not only, you know, playing well, but that's not even... We're talking about Distexy a lot here. There's not really a star player here. If you look, even Ace0, yeah, 4 and 6, but then 12 assists. The utility has been incredible from them, and that's how you see... That's how you go from a good team to a great team, is even whenever your lowest performing member, they may not be fragging out necessarily, but they are making space for their team, they are giving them the opportunities they need, and that's exactly what's happening.
And this is now starting to be really good again, because of the Puffins and their foot again in the round, but, you know, if you're the Pit... Oh, this is a combat stim, you know, revealing that there's probably 2 people there, and now there's 3 people there, and they're all on this long space. Dog comes through, they know... Oh, they've seen the 2 people in showers. And now Teho, well, the defending Teho, and the Molly's coming through. I'm kind of stumbling on my words. There's so much going on in such a little amount of time, but they're actually pushing it out, and they managed to get the long control from that.
Oh, and Distex, he's trying to play. I really like that, actually, that we see ELJ even on that back right corner. Showers try and swing out just while the distraction play is coming through, but LJPH is going to shut that down as fast as it tries to start up. We do also see, quite rarely, the Cypher switch up has actually went now. It's towards A rather than B. The Puffins have identified that there hasn't really been any push towards that B site. So Chewy, come and join us on A site, get yourself some frags, and immediately we see that no preparation for the ponies on that side, because it is so rare that Cypher changes the setups, and immediately Chewy has just created a bear trap for the rest of the ponies that they have absolutely walked into. The Neural Theft is going to come out, try and give as much wall hack potential as possible. That is going to give the ponies all the information. All three members are at least more towards A. You will have to deal with the S0 on this retake, but you've got some time if this molly can't prevent your plan, which it's not.
You've heard two of them TP, you know A0's backside. If you could fight and plant for backside, this would have been really nicely done here, but it doesn't even look like the Puffins are going to let that happen. They're just going to come in. KYCA 1v2 has to isolate 2 fights, and Chewy is going to take down KYCA, getting the 3k for the round. Nicely done. Good free play trip to punish LJPH from planting. And now they're saving what seems to be an operator from the A side, which is, you know, quite nice to see. But a lot of teams are just doing this. I think it's the first time I've seen this on broadcast where they've actually just, you know, completely stopped. And you know, got to pick up Rascal's operator. What skin was that, I wonder? I'm assuming it was probably something like... No, he's not going to pull it back out, to be fair. I wouldn't either. Oh, that was a... I could not read that. Okay, that is hideous. I'm sorry.
I forget exactly what it is. I don't think it's the Kuranami, because the Kuranami looks far nicer than that, but I believe it does begin with a K. I'm sure someone who does own all the skins will yell at us in chat, so hi, that particular someone. We appreciate you. But yeah, jumping in onto it now, we do see, you know, last round for the half, the op has been online. Rascal has been doing some quite... oh, it's Kohaku. That's what it is. It's the Kohaku. It's quite... Oh, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But anyway, speaking of not hating, you're going to have to work out if KYCA hates the fact that there's 3 people rushing him down on this B long right now from the attacking side. That's a very scary thing to watch. And look at the amount of push up here, the amount of control. They know because of this now, the Puffins are absolutely aware it's going to be an A push. An incredibly aggressive push from Chewy, and Elijah is going to be shut down. The showstopper absolutely stopping the show. Egner hearing the TP immediately 180s and shuts down AS0. Smokes are now down as well. 5 versus 3. Never mind. This Texi with a single bullet takes out 2 members, making it now a 3 versus 1. If there's one person to be a nightmare, it's this Rascal.
To be fair, Rascal did swap out for the operator and is going to satch out, making his position known, and it's just going to stick. Oh, is that even going to swing? No, okay, Lugia is going to stay, but he's got half. This is very doable now for Rascal, but Lugia, confidence is key. Takes down Rascal, Molly comes down, and a body spray as well. Nicely done. Coming back into it. 8-4 half. And to be fair, considering the Puffins 1 pistol, and it's all right from the pit ponies, you know, only losing 8-4. It could be worse. Could be worse. Could be 9-3. Could be 10-2. But I think they've done quite well to get that 4. And now I'm feeling confident with this because I really like the defense side on this map. Like I've said 1,000 times, I really like the defense side of this. But you did point out earlier, they have that double duelist. This is going to be a little bit of an issue. But the Yoru meta right now is just too strong. TPing from side to side, you know, using the decoy and whatnot. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm glad you pointed that out because that's exactly what I wanted to say. The Yoru, what incredibly does work, and particularly as well, of all the maps that Bind is one of the strongest playstyles of this that already features a teleporter to the other site, and Yoru is still good enough. We see the drift, the TP has already been placed towards that B site. Meanwhile, both members of the ponies are towards that A site and towards that shower. Very aggressive push again from them, and that's what you want to see. Again, both duelists playing together, working off of each other. No fights have been taken. But look at the amount of information being gathered. If you're the pit ponies, you know everyone's going to be pushing you down on this B site. At least most of them should be. And AS0 falls due to Egner. Meanwhile,
now we're cooking.
Really interesting from the Puffins. So we had the solo Brim push into Hookah, immediately punished, and you know the 2 pushing out of showers. This is really nicely now. They can do something off this to Sexy. Oh, LGBH finds 3. Doesn't even need the right click. Just starts spraying and gets 2. Now OG player has to do a lot. Takes 1 down. OGBH now fighting the guy in CT, but Kobe is going to take him down. And now the pistol round has gone towards the Pit Ponies, and this is looking really strong. To be fair, A0 has been punished multiple times for doing stuff on his own. That is the one thing that I wanted to point out. A0 is going solo way too many times, and it seems OGBH is kind of picked up on that. And so is the team. So all the ponies in that stable have picked up on that. And now they're trying to punish this, and they are doing a really good job so far.
Exactly, and again, from what you're saying, if you want aggressive peeking, 2 duelists, or maybe 2 duelists, the way the ponies are kind of doing it. No, we're not. We are defensive, but you know what that means? You're just going to have to deal with our attacks so far at the very least. And when you have that level of aggression with the pistols only, now with the guns starting to be the advantage, we see the Yoru sitting with the Judge. Yeah, not sure he's not going to do much. The Bucky might do a little bit more. Lugia, very intelligent, does get themselves out of danger, but does mean they are going to be stuck towards that B site. The random quicks go from Kobe. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. That's an absolutely beautiful shot, and that's going to again cause some difficulty for the Muffins. Egner following him back up as Kobe can't land every shot. There's going to be some that are missed. Chewy runs and guns with the Bucky. Does it again on the Egner. Dystexy actually saying that my shotgun's just as good. It's free though. The molly comes down on towards Tetris as we do see the right clicks trying to be spammed through. The smoke and the Cypher Cage are both already. They're trying to dance around the info as much as possible. The right click from Chewy or the Bucky from Chewy. The right click from Dystexy. It will be enough. Oh my days. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I was very much losing track of what was going on there. That was shenanigans. Loved it.
That is a big round for the Puffins. To actually get that, now Chewy is feeling really confident, can call his team and get a plan going. It seems, you know, Lugia, they just lost too much space and the plan went down. They didn't really delay very well in main, you know, got one, TP'd out, but unfortunately Chewy just... I don't know why Cypher has the Bucky out of all people, but he's just bought the Bucky and he's just ran it down. This is, you know, I guess... It's just what I like to say, you know, sometimes a strange plans done well is better than a good plan done horrendously, and that seems to be the case here.
That's actually an excellent way of putting it. We do see a lot of teams that just to build off that very quickly, you know, as long as it's a coordinated strategy, even if it's a weird strat, that can still work. Again, we see the ponies look at this A push already. They've basically got the guarantee. Yep, all 5 members are towards B. You need to be prepped for these fights. Your econ isn't going to be working out quite as well. Egner getting the paint shells to the face. They do then use a massively effective rotate, but actually not quite as effective as they were maybe hoping. Both members of the Puffins have both members of the ponies, sorry, sitting back and trying to prevent that as much as possible. The molly and the paint shells from Kobe and LJPH shutting down any initial push, and all of a sudden things have gotten a lot slower.
To be fair, this is looking like a really good position now. Okay, he's still got the Bucky, and AYZA is still just stood there. It seems like we're at a complete standstill, but oh no, they're going around in circles. They're calling the push down now on A main, but beautifully done, taking down the lurk, and now that should give him all the info in the world. They know there's no one left on A, and now the ponies have something. This is a really winnable round. If they can find just some picks here, it's trying to spray. Getting a Kobe is going to Kobe the shot into and take down a little bit of damage from Rascal, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Phantom, backside, 2 people. Teho, Egner, and KYCA now coming. These are some heroes for the Pit Ponies, done really well together. Let's see what they can do. Okay, never mind. A0 is just completely gone, and I've cast the curse them. I'm so sorry about that. LGBH now, Bulldog at hand, trying to find something wherever he can. Shots coming from the board, and Lugia is going to get taken down by Spectre of A0, and Egner with the Sheriff. A lot to be done.
Yeah, no, LJPH and Egner are trying to give each other as much space as possible here. S0 obviously being found out, and LJPH with the information from Egner. They have a rough idea of where LJ is, at least because of it, but here we go, the salvo. That is why Tejo is just such a pain to deal with. He'll actually realize that, you know what, I don't want to take those shots or give that risk away. I'm not going to give you the gun or any extra additional space. Dances with the snake as they put themselves up 10 rounds on, and the first team to hit double digits of the night.
To be honest, this is a really big blunder for the Pit Ponies, and it's important that we keep mentally resilient going into this next map, because now the Puffins, I believe it's Lotus, am I right?
Let me check. I believe it is, but bear with me. Lotus is definitely one of the 3. We've got Fracture and Lotus. Fracture, I believe, is next.
So Fracture, this is a very attacker side, and if this is, you know, the Puffins pick, Pit Ponies are going to have to do really well to get some rounds on that board, especially since the map's just one massive circle.
Exactly, and that's the thing. I mean, it's Fracture as well. It very much comes down to, you know, there's one map that I've always said, if you want to talk about team play and coordination, fractures the map to do it. Speaking of, Rascal and Lugia are just jumping around each other. Kobe as well, trying to back up his teammate, and that's basically all green for the side of the Pit Ponies. You were saying that there was a maybe bit of a blunder, but Kobe is shutting that down. Ace Zero is going to fall quite as fast as he manages to get back onto site. You want aggressive push, it seems the Ponies can give you, and they are coming at this swinging.
Yeah, it's really well done as well, to be honest, and it's a big round to win. Essentially, 4 rounds now that stands between these two teams, and if they can just, you know, Pit Ponies can just work off this and actually build this momentum and try and get it up in the air, it's really doable. But until then, you know, LGPH on that top of the leaderboard, and I've always said, you know, if you're an IGL and you're at the top of the leaderboard, you're doing something wrong. But obviously, all love to LGPH. I've spoken to that guy many times. He's in a wonderful IGL, really good at reading the game, but it's now that he's going to have to take it in hand for his team and lead the way and show exactly how to do it and try and build the mental up as he goes.
And unfortunately for them, it's a very aggressive push, a very aggressive defense. It's not going to quite work out the way you'd expect. The Trailblazers are just too good at giving the information there. No fear from Chewy, who just runs right through the drone to try and get the shot from the bucket. It's not going to be a pick, but I appreciate the aggression. This defense now, or essentially post-plant defense from the Puffins now, it's going to be quite in favour. Lugia, the TP does just kind of slide past Rascal. It is going to be a fake. We do watch Rascal 180 for it. The drone is going to be broken by the Tejo. Rascal actually brings down Lugia, and because of that, the Showstopper now online. Jumps over Tetris, blows Egner to the next round, and meanwhile, the rest of the Puffins are now collapsing on top of the only surviving member of the Ponies. It's KYCA trying to get the pre-fire as much as possible. Unfortunately, doesn't have enough bullets for all the remaining members of the Puffins and will fall.
Yeah, this is a big, good, you know, good start for the Puffins, you know, coming into this, and this Dexy has just done a lot. 18 and 9 on Sky as well, and 14 assists from Ace. Why have they just completely swapped roles? Why has this guy got 5 assists and Brimstone's got 14? That's just not right.
I don't know. I feel like you can definitely get away with it in some degree, but you know what? There is a fair point to be had, and now the Ponies are having to do something here. If you look at the econ, there are 2 members that aren't really going to be able to buy next round. They are trying to sacrifice everything here. They don't want this to go to overtime. They do have the Showstopper online for the side of Kobe, which is going to be very helpful for them, but we'll have to see if it's enough at the minute. It might be too little too late.
Too little too late, or, you know, too short to start. Either way, the time, you know, 11-6 scoreline, you don't have a lot of lifelines left, and Pit Ponies now are gonna not exactly have the best set of weapons. We got Sheriffs, we got, oh, the little decoy. Dog is gonna get a lot of info, man. There's 4 people into the Shouts bush, and this is looking like a 5-man rush again onto that A side. They know it's weak. KYCA taking down instantly. Chewy holding the one way, nicely done, you know, make sure no one walks out that Brim Smoke in heaven. I love to see it, but this retake now for the Pit Ponies is going to be quite difficult.
Yeah, there's the salvo's going to be coming down at the very least from Egner. That's going to be something. Rascal with the pre-fire doesn't actually get very much. Lugia is going to swing off with him. Rascal's going to then shut down both of them. LJPH does at least find something with the Outlaw. The gun is going to get upgraded, but there is no shield for LJPH. It's only 3 bullets, not 4, which is a big difference at this type of elo, unless the headshot comes through. It doesn't, so maybe that was enough. Ace Zero using the molly at the very least to try and stop any diffuse situation if it were to even come up, which Ilja is going to shut down immediately.
Match point now for the side of the Puffins, and to be fair, you know, the buy isn't good. You have no good util you can really use apart from the Raise Rocket, and maybe do something. You know, if I'm Luigi, I'm buying a Judge heavy shield, and I'm just running it down with a Yoro ult, to be honest. You know, get my 1, TP out, you know, 5v4, it's 12-7. After that, you know, next round, send it down B main with the, you know, the Raise ult. There you go, it's 8-12, alright, what else? You know, just, and then just, you know, they go Ment and build. But to be fair, it looks like they're going to switch up a little bit and just do, oh, looks like they're doing my strat. They're running it down A main instead of B. It's not quite correct, but, you know, we'll get there in the end. Dog now coming up from the side of the Puffins, and the Puffins are just going to run it down for B. However, you know, they have Chewy all the way on the lurk on A, but doesn't look like it's even going to be needed. Luigi is going to find that first blood. Rascal trading it out. The Tejo mollies being gone there is very, very good, because now in that post-plant scenario, there's less, you know, less delay. So Luigio's done really well, but the weapons is just not going to be there to back it. A0 tapping the plan, scared of something in hookah, as he should be. LGPH slowly walking in. They're going to push in for this extra space. A0 now coming in, taking Egner down, and now they're going towards A. The last 3 remaining ponies are still on this B site, but the Puffins now are just calling it as Chewy just walked up for free and took the entirety of the A space, and LGPH isn't convinced. Now they all have stingers to their names, and Rascal, he just wants kills. This guy's stat farming. He's taken 3 down, and now 1v4 with the stinger for the IGL. 1 smoke and a molly left, and all you can do now is just show why you deserve to, you know, be in this and actually have a chance to compete in the grand final. Flash comes through, gets no one. Molly comes through. LGBH has a lot to do in a short amount of time, but they're running him down. Damage comes through. Distexy is going to take down LGBH and makes it 13-6 for the side of the Puffins. Very, very unfortunate half and map if you are the Pit Ponies. However, you know, they have an entire series to play through. This is a best of 3 at the end of the day, so luckily it's not, you know, best of 1s anymore, and we have another 2 maps that we can bring it onto. But yeah, you know, what do you think of that?
That was mad. That was mad. That was honestly one of my favorite matches that we have seen so far. Bind can be very much a difficult map in time just to, you know, understand the situation, understand the plays, make those reads and such. A big shout out to Chewy just for having the wherewithal to actually change the Cypher setups a little bit. We did see that it changed from B to A. Usually you do see Cyphers kind of, you know, I live in B. You guys all do A things over there. I'm going to just chill here, and then if there's someone here, I'll let you know. But Chewy was a much more kind of aggressive, much more kind of on the fly, which is a terrifying thing to deal with on Cypher. The amount of setups and such that can be done are basically limitless, which I think was a great showing for how the Puffins ran away with that. The rest of the shots, just all phenomenal. There were absolutely moments, and I do want to point out just as a pair of them for Kobe and Lugia, but just not enough to kind of carry them through, unfortunately.
But to be fair, though, you know, you were talking about those Cypher trips and all of these different things that you could possibly do, but at the end of the day, it just felt like they weren't, you know, they just weren't ready. They came into it, you know, started a bit lackluster. LGBH had to do everything a little bit, you know, getting all those frags, trying to, you know, boost up and, you know, not what I mean, obviously, LGBH doesn't do exactly do anything, but you know what I'm trying to say, like, trying to lift it, getting the frags, trying to, you know, see what you can do, but unfortunately, if you're in his position, that game, you got to, you know, find a way to bring the morale to come back together, because, you know, all those performances are going to start to fluster and maybe start getting into their own heads, but, you know, best of 3, so hopefully not, but, you know, but we'll come back and after the break and we'll see exactly what comes on Fracture, but, you know, don't go anywhere, we will not be long, and yeah, see you in a bit. Welcome back, everyone. We've just witnessed a very good start from the Pit Ponies, or I mean the Puffins. If you're a Pit Ponies fan, not so good start. Puffins very good, as this team is currently leading in this series a 1-0. My name's Lendoth, and I'm joined by...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's MadDante. Yep, we are right back here getting into it. So the players and such are just getting ready. We will be going on to map 2, which is Fracture, which if you're a Pit Ponies fan, building off of what Lendoth had said, you're also a little bit concerned about, because for anyone that's kind of heard me mention Fracture, I believe genuinely Fracture is... While every game has like the mechanics and everything like that, if you have someone that's just good enough aim, you will win. Fracture very much can be even if your aim is not as good, if your executes and such are fine, or if you're comfortable with the map, you can just run away with it. But that's not the Ponies that's picked Fracture. It is the Puffins, which is a terrifying thought, and we are getting right into it. Oh my days.
Oh wow, I didn't even get to have a little chant. But it's okay, because we're going into Fracture, and this is the Puffins pick. And if you're the Puffins, you're really confident going into the map, winning their map pick, and now coming into yours, you should be feeling over the moon. But it looks like the attackers here are the Pit Ponies, and they're going to go with a triple Sentinel.
Potentially shenanigans.
Oh, I love the shenanigans, but no, it looks like we're looking the Brimstone, Cypher, Lugia hovering that chamber. Now, I'm actually a good advocate for double Sentinel on this map. Since this map, very, a lot of info can be betrayed, and sometimes you don't have enough trips. You put one trip on one side, you have to go across the zip line and put the trip on the other just to completely block it off. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, as both trips now are just going to be used, one on chamber, one on Cypher, and looks like this is, as long as they can play this correctly, this might be quite worrying. I'm sat here and they're starting to attack, and they've got this double Sentinel. If, the Puffins are good and are still confident, they can start steamrolling, but it doesn't even look like they're going to do that. They're going to have a double initiator comp, so they just have comps for the wrong side now. That's quite clever. So I guess this is doable.
I do like it as well, and we are starting to see, you'd mentioned it actually last week, Lendoth, that we are starting to see Vi's kind of finally find her footing in the meta, which is good to see. It is a bit of a shame, obviously, we still see, but Cypher, actually being opted for, being completely forgotten about KYCA, and Lugia, of course, doing that double Sentinel, as you had said. Lugia going from Yoru, who all love to them, just wasn't really able to quite find the space consistently enough that you were maybe hoping for if you're a Ponies fan. So maybe kind of changing this up. I mean, Chamber is basically a duelist, as I think the meme has kind of, cemented itself in history. That if you are going to play any Sentinel and be aggressive, why not play Chamber?
Yeah, to be honest, this, he's had his ups and downs. He used to have 2 trips and a really good TP from going side to side in the map. Now, nowadays he got completely nerfed to the ground, and they're finally bringing him back up, with the really wide range of his trip. To be fair, I underestimated how wide it is until I played him myself recently, and it is really nice to, get that freedom to, even go to some certain point in the map and your trip's still up, and you can still take contact and fight wherever you want. And it's a nicely done. I don't know what exactly we're watching here. Some sort of nice plan making.
Maybe just a little bit of a hyping up, ladies and gentlemen. We've already got one under our belts. We just have to do it again on our map pick, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do. It looks to be a big fight towards this arcade side. The stim pack, the flashes, 3 members of each side are going to be fighting into each other, and here we go. The classic shots are good. LJP Hedge trade out Kobe. The pinstripe going through so far. 2 members of each side are dead. Ace Zero getting a bit too aggressive and trying to get back towards that B site, but meanwhile the Ponies, actually with really solid map awareness, they just push up that B main and take the rest of the space for free.
Now they're going to play home like this, and Chewy's going to get a call, but Ilgia play, won this, and it's a 1v1. The Molly's coming down. And to be honest, this is going to be down to the wire, it seems. 1 minute on the clock, has to get the bomb, doesn't know where to look for the chamber, but the headhunter is searching for that head, has seen him. They both know where they are. Molly trying to, block off his exit, is too late. Lugia now running towards this B side to get the bomb down, and if they can get this and play post-plant, this is going to be a really good round and a good pistol round to win if you're the Pit Ponies.
Absolutely. Now, of course, Lugia does have to worry about Ilja's opportunities here. There's so much Ilja can do. Go up to tower, go through main, and there just seems they're going to be already ready to meet each other. Oh my days, Lugia, the timing, unfortunate there, but does have the very superior headhunter. Only needs a body shot with this level of HP. Doesn't even get that though, and some of the damage is going to be through. It's basically the next shot wins, and Ilja has come to play, shutting down what should have been the Pit Ponies' first pistol, and instead goes the way of the Puffins.
The pressure is seemed to be getting onto Lugia. After having a rough map, I would also start to feel that pressure, and it is now a case of is this team mentally resilient enough to take us to the third map? Now, I know it's only pistol, but until then, you know, if you're the Puffins, you can start just spraying bodies and stuff and completely wipe down that mental. And that's just a mental game that's kind of been brought on since 2023, you know. God, I mentioned top tier 1 players, but Demon 1 started spraying bodies in tier 1, and a lot of people now coming into this and starting to do the same. But it's really good because it's a very good mental game tactic to break your opponent's mental.
Exactly, particularly as well. I mean, Lugia, heads up with, like, you know, already 2 very good frags as well. Unfortunately, just not able to quite finish it up. So instead, the mental should hopefully be there. But yeah, as you said, if the corpse gets shot, particularly whenever that was a very winnable round from Lugia, and unfortunately just the shot's not quite landed, yeah, that might be the kind of straw to break the camel's back. Does seem to be a much more patient attack, though, from the ponies this time. The Puffins as well have slowed it down quite a bit. We do see that hold over towards the A site there. It will be Lugia versus yeah, Ilja, you're not getting away with that. Lugia has come back for revenge, and we do see the rope being taken to try and get towards that A main. Of course, though, there's a member of Rascal sitting there, and we watch LJPH fall to the Outlaw. The paint shells are both going to come through from each raise, as now with all the control here, it's going to be really difficult for the ponies to try and take this back.
But to be fair, the perfectly cut Outlaw shot, and these DXE just again on that duelist initiator role, getting 3 with the Bulldog, and now the Pit Ponies are still not finding their foot. Getting that first blood on Ilgia, but unfortunately couldn't find that second frag, and now you are getting, you know, we need to win this full buy.
Yeah, no, you just do. There's really nothing more complicated. There's really nothing, you know, as simple as this round is very necessary for mental, for econ, for just standing, for giving yourselves that kind of momentum, that flexibility back into this game. You really can't afford to let the Puffins walk away with too many more rounds again. You do, as you were saying, Lendoth, you know, yourself, the kind of comps do seem to mirror kind of the other side. Specifically, Lugia has done something yet again. LJPH will follow him up. The 2 members alone handing the Puffins the L, as they will hopefully, with this momentum, walk away with their first round, and the tour de force already online for Lugia. That's mental.
Getting that on by round 4 is really good, and you know, if Chewy was to somehow win this, although he's had the perfect timing to do that, but 4 crossfires and KYCA to put the bullet to Chewy's name, and now Brimstone ultimate as well. This is crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did watch Lugia and LJPH light up that kill feed, so not too surprising for anyone as well that hasn't maybe kept up. Tour de Force, it's an op, it's free, it's 8 ult points, and with a slowing aura for every successful shot. And Lugia, to be fair, other than that initial fight with Ilja, hasn't seemed to miss. I've been saying Ilja, I feel like it's Ilya, so I'm going to now swap halfway through and annoy everyone and either get it wrong before or get it wrong now. But yeah, Ilya hasn't really, or Lugia, sorry, hasn't really been missing the shots other than that initial duel. We do see the Tour de Force trying to take control of this dish.
To be fair, this Tour de Force is really good, and if Ilya just even goes a step too far to the left, he's going to get met by this, you know, slow wall bullet that ultimately slows it down. But it looks like Chamber now is going to be on the attack. Lugia trying to move up, but Ilya is just taking Lugia down, and this is a great pick for the side of the Puffins. Trying to get this now. What they can do from this round doesn't seem very likely. LGPH is going to slide across, trying to figure out what the plan is, but Egner tripping that Vise wall, and Chewy nicely done to get that. You know, now they have info that Vise is swinging off that Vise wall. Obviously, they can't see through walls, but you can imagine what someone would be doing there.
Yeah, exactly, and very, very good awareness for to not get caught as well. We did see the amount of players from the Puffins, you know, very much committed to that utility getting the value, not quite as much. LJP now just walking onto site, meanwhile Egner and Kobe are trying to take that tower control. The timing from KYCA is perfect. That is what you want to see. You want to be seeing that level of control, that level of, as soon as you turn around to clear one angle, the angle that you were initially holding, someone swings out and shoots you in the back. There's nothing you can do about that. Doesn't matter how good your aim is, you just can't do anything. Speaking of good aim, it's Kobe with one. Will fall down, but that should be enough as KYCA brings down Distex and Ilya. I don't want to see this ult get used. I would really rather prefer to see LJPH just push down towards the site. No, they're going to consider burning it. At the very least, it does mean it gets used and saved. Chewy's still trying to work out where LJPH is and will fall to him eventually. And the Pit Ponies very quickly equalizing this up.
You know, really, the Pit Ponies we saw last game, the Pit Ponies we've seen this game, 2 completely different teams. And it seems that, you know, they had that 15 minutes, they had a war, and they understood, okay, you know, there's nothing we can do about last map. Let's come into this with a fresh mind, and this is the Ponies that we know and love. And, you know, trying to put the fight for the Puffins.
That's exactly what you want to see. We did mention we wanted to see the mental kind of stay strong. We wanted to see all the hope and the wonder as well. And you know, the ponies again. If there's anything that you can do, you then take this map. If you can stop the Puffins from 2-0ing you then go into Lotus again, beating the Puffins on probably the most complex map to run, and with it being their map pick. Incredibly good to do so. So obviously the ponies just want to win because they want to stay in this, but there is a bit more to be had than just an initial victory. Ilya shutting down Kobe, but everyone else is going the way of the ponies now. Distex trying to do something very cheeky, very aggressive. The timing and the crosshair placement is so disgustingly clean. Egner running away, LJBH shutting down any shenanigans. Distex, he has been on fire for the last few games, or for these both games so far, and now it's just all up to Chewy. The Sheriff shots are gonna find Egner at the very least, but now post-plant scenario, and there's still no guns for Chewy.
No guns, but you know, not necessarily no hope, as this Sheriff is really dangerous, especially if LGPH gets that tag down, instantly taken down. But Lugia, they're holding up over. He needs to isolate one fight, but no. Crosshair placement from Lugia is perfect. Chewy goes down 3-2, and Pit Ponies, first time in this series, take the lead.
And congratulations to them as well. It's a tough thing to do, particularly off of you losing that pistol round, as we said. So the fact that momentum has swung back round in their favour, very good to do so. Even as well, you know, Lugia is now on that operator. Normally doesn't need to rely on the tour de force, but so far, Ilya and Lugia are my two bets. If anyone is a betting man, I'm not in chat, or a betting person I should say, but please, someone keep an eye on the 1v1s, particularly from Lugia and Ilya, because so far that has been a spectacle to witness, as we do see the op coming through towards that B. Me and Ace Zero just trying to do some wiggling, trying to just get some info. Not going to find very much in the ult economy from both teams. Showstopper, Rolling Thunder, and Armageddon for the Puffins. Meanwhile, the ponies have got the Showstopper and the Neural Theft, and quite a lot of control. The Puffins are going to prevent Kobe from getting any further.
You know, trap play now, and I don't think they saw OGPH. They don't know if he's stunned or not, but taking that space extra and not giving him anything more from that Belugia is going to trade A0. Again, being punished. Always aggressive, Mr. A0. Doesn't seem to actually get out of harm's way. Like, every single time we saw him, always taking solo fights, and not using the being alive to use the smoke. To LGPH now going to take Rascal down, and this is going to be the start for the Pit Ponies that we need. Looks like, you know, 2v4 retake, but it's Distexy and Chewy that's alive. So this is a very doable retake as long as they coordinate and actually work together. But it doesn't even look like they're going to go towards B. They tapped the bomb and went A.
And they've seemed to, and the Puffins have seemed to have ate this trick for breakfast. They now have the util, but yeah, Egner, look at the control you've got. Dish is completely safe, Main's completely safe. The Vice setup's not really going to do you many favours. You can try and get something with the Arc Rose, but let's face it, it's probably not going to happen. And it does look like, despite full utility other than the Aftershock from the side of Distexy, they're not even going to try and commit that, which, you know what, that's a fair point. The Rolling Thunder is a phenomenally good ultimate. It's not that good.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, even though it doesn't look like they're going to even bother with this, they're just going to go for a save. They can hear the cam, they have the info, and that's a really good round to win if you're the Pit Ponies. And now, you know, this is starting to swing back in your favor, especially with that double center you two on attack. This is going to be looking like, you know, the momentum build, the mental shift, and now can the Puffins start to keep calm and understand, okay, where are we going wrong? Why are we losing these fights, etc.?
Oh, and the hunt for them finds, oh my days, the op shot, I think, actually transcending universes and rounds, respectively. But there's not going to be any members of the Puffins found, so they are going to walk away with 2 guns as well. The Econ actually looking pretty okay for them still. They can afford everything basically going into this. The only light shield we do see is from Rascal, and that actually looks to be more of a choice rather than necessity. Ace Zero just waiting, of course, to buy up. Here we go. We see the regen shield and such come online. But meanwhile, look at that other Econ. You've got all of that on like 7k except Kobe, plus you've got Chamber and such to be able to cheat the Econ. I would really like to see some of these ultimates, particularly from the Puffins, get used, because otherwise you do fall into the trap of having them be stuck. And speaking of being stuck, Kobe on the zip wire. Is he going towards his death? The timing's not going to be there. He speeds up and will fall to Ilya. That is unfortunate timing for the Pit Ponies.
But to be fair, the Puffins I mean, you know, they're pushing that south on B, you know, now the people are going to have to speed up because they saw 3. They know that there's probably only 1 here, roughly, maybe 2, actually. They haven't seen this breach. But obviously, you know, taking a bit of time and giving enough time for this Puffins to actually, you know, make a call off it. But it doesn't even look like that's going to happen. They're just going to play retake. Rightfully so, because, you know, you don't have a lot of things here. They are a man down. They only have the Brim ult to work with, and we have Teho, Breach ult, and the Razor. And as this retake goes underway, Chewy now holds that space. Make sure they're not aggressing even further, and it looks like LGBH is going to be playing the lineups. All right, then. Breach ult comes in. Alex, two ult comes in from the Puffins. Looks like Egner is going to have to get out of this somehow. Doesn't look like it's going to be doable. And Egner is getting out of that. Egner making a stand on site. Takes 3 down. And the retake's just too fast. Doesn't even take 3 down. It was 2. But what a round from the Puffins. And that retake just... it didn't look like, Egner had such a good opportunity to slow that down. Gets 2. Did all he can. But unfortunately, just didn't get the opportunity to.
No, unfortunately there, that play off towards main, it's a good idea in theory if you're the ponies, but whenever the execution actually does come down to it, there is a lot of ultimates that basically prevent you from really kind of, reclaiming any space. There was no one leaning towards Dish there, which does seem to have been, an active choice, because the Rolling Thunder and everything did obviously come through. If you are the ponies, though, that was quite a lot committed. That was all 3 ultimates we did mention. So Rolling Thunder's gone, Armageddon and Showstopper are now all out of the picture for the ponies. So while it is unfortunate, to be honest, I think they're quite happy with that. They've burned, Puffins have burnt all the ultimates. Meanwhile, we've still got the Armageddon and Showstopper for the ponies, and the Econ still very comfortable for them. We do see now a very aggressive push from the Puffins trying to take this control of the top. The Showstopper going to come through, dodge around the Vise wall, trying to get as much info as possible, but Kobe's just going to go right past Chewy.
And unfortunately, Rosa ult from Kobe couldn't find any value out of it, but now Rascal is going to take Lugia out on this, nice aggressive angle, but Chewy had to win that fight there. And now this is a really doable round for the Pit Ponies. If Chewy could just find that shot off and actually slow this down, this would have been stronger. But now Egner, Dystexy, the initiator combat. Ilya now, come on, go and get your 1. LGBH making itself no, but goes out on the wide and unfortunately couldn't find the pick. But the trade from A0 is really good. Breach on into main. Is it going to walk out? He is. Kobe is walking out, and now Cypher has to do a lot. But Dystexy make the tag. Sees the camera still on bomb, has to swing out. Oh, the cage is not going to work out for him. But nicely done, KYCA. Kept it calm, kept it mental, and won that there.
I really appreciate the, and I do love the fact that even, whether you're Iron or whether you are, Radiant, top 500, if you see your utility go somewhere really stupid, I love the fact that KYCA still tracked it for a split second, just to kind of go, for God's sake, okay, fine, I'll do it myself. The setup with the Cypher Cam as well there, really aggressive. You usually don't see it, on the bomb to that level, which is why it did take, the side of the Puffins a little bit longer to realize where it was. That initial frag from KYCA was excellent, no problem getting it, and then AS0 actually did struggle to find it for an extra little second, which, when in these types of retake scenarios and post-plant, that is all the difference.
To be fair, though, the IGL here, LGBH did really well, and, KYCA, his confidence there just kind of, stomped out and actually took him down, and, the misplaced cage is alright, still swung, had to get half anyway. The time was running really low, that camera was really well placed, but unfortunately the lineup on the bomb to try and, stop the spray just isn't going to go really well, because bullets go through people. Unfortunately, that's what happens. But Kobe, I thought he was sat behind Jen then. I really did think Kobe A0 was just staring at a wall, but no, he's got his Stinger looking for main, and the buy isn't looking very strong for the side of the Puffins here. Nades coming through and bombs, and still have that Lugia look up on that A dish, but doesn't look like it's going to be needed, as the Pit Ponies are just going to take this site. But it looks like they're going to want a bit more spaces if Kobe can just find a fight. But there's 4 people here. It looks like they're going to be ready for a flood retake if it comes through. But LGBH, again, just setting the standard, finding Chibi and punishing that Vise Thorn. And now it looks like the Pit Ponies are going to have a really good chance here at making this. Flood retake comes out, though, and a lot of util to try and bombard onto this site. This down coming in. Egner's also had a kill somewhere. Completely missed that. But, 5v3 now for the side of the Pit Ponies.
Yeah, exactly. We see them dancing around, trying to make sure that plant's going to be as safe as possible. It absolutely will be in the orbital strike now coming online. If you're the Puffins as well, I do want to mention... Well, hang on, let's find out if Ilya can survive this swing. Never mind, it's not going to happen just yet. If you're the Puffins, losing your Vise ult there is absolutely massive. Of course, we did mention the Econ is a bit worse for the Puffins right now. So, if anything, you would love to have Vise online right now to say, okay, well, we couldn't afford to buy guns, but yours don't work. So, we've evened the playing field in that regard. But unfortunately for the Puffins, they do lose Chewy a little bit early, and because of that they're going to have to just kind of play a little bit more patient. Guns and everything have been gathered and picked up. Speaking of guns, maybe kills will get picked up. Egner, yep, being punished. Very aggressive push. Do like the setup from Rascal. So at the very least one member is going to fall, but the ponies still get the round.
Yeah, it looks like I think Egner was trying to farm an ult orb there, as much ult orbs as he can, to be fair, but yeah, it looks like, just getting the ult orbs. Their economy is booming. They have no space for any errors there. So to be fair, just go and get your orb come out, and yeah, you might do something on your KD, but as long as you get closer to that Armageddon, what do you need?
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what we do see. As well, one thing we want to point out I want to point out very quickly as well, the reason Chamber is so strong, we actually don't even see a Jet or anything here, so Chamber is the only character from the side of Lugia that can actually cheat the Econ with like the Tour de Force and the Headhunter, which is a massive deal. It does mean that even if the ponies do start to lose the Econ advantage slightly, or the Puffins do manage to take so much space, they can still shut things down. The Stinger from who was that went down? I couldn't even see it happen so fast, but it's not going to be enough regardless. Ilya, though, at the very least will get the refrag, but that's a lot of damage done. And KYCA maybe ready for one, not even ready for Rascal. That's such a tight swing, love to see it, and that's a lot of space now for the Puffins.
To be fair, the Puffins are, really well done, and, clearing that map control. And the spike hasn't even been picked up. It looks like both sides have lost their Brimstone, but the only extra on the side of the Pit Ponies is this Cypher, which has been taken down. But, if you're the Pit Ponies, you're going to have to find a way to come back into this round, and it doesn't even look like, the Puffins even care about their A space anymore. They know that, well, they're very certain that they're on this B side, but doesn't even matter, as Ilya is going to fight Kobe and find Kobe, and it looks like this Puffins round is going to be coming into this. Now, one thing I do actually want to point out is I've noticed a big error that these Puffins players make, and it's probably a reason why they're, kind of maybe making errors in this round. As much as I do like to cast, I do like to analyze and understand, and so we can all learn together. So this Chewy, so I've seen Chewy and A0 do it lots of times. Maybe I'll explain this after, actually, because this retake has just started instantly. I thought it was going to be a lot slower than that. My apologies. However, Util coming out on site. Rascal now flooding this retake and taking this space, whereas Egner sat in heaven, has a lot to do. The Thorns isn't going to allow him to swing, and Chewy's just going to get a free defuse. Rascal spraying onto the SXD, and Ilya is going to take down Egner, and that's going to be 4-6 on the Puffins. Now, returning to my point, a big thing I did see that actually gives Pit Ponies these rounds, and it was the same on Bind, is you talking about that use of the Vice or the round before from Chewy. Lost too early, wasn't it? Lost too early.
Yep.
Players are swinging too early, in my opinion. That you have time. That bomb's only gone down. You have about 40 seconds-ish to actually get this done, and well, pretty much like 36, because you don't want to, you have 4 seconds for something to defuse. But besides, you need to make sure we are just not getting punished. We are, not swinging. We're valuing our life. And until we do that, I think the Puffins, once they get that problem out the way, they can be really stronger than they already are.
Oh, and we do see, speaking of, there's Chewy getting caught in the box. We see the salvo come through from Egner. At the very least, the paint shells are back, and that's a triple swing from the ponies as well. They are going to be ready for Destexy, but Destexy's done a lot of damage through that wall for a lot of people. KYCA doesn't matter if you can't see, as long as some of those bullets hit you. Meanwhile, towards this dish, Lugia with a beautiful one. Can hear the steps from A0, but it's not going to be enough. And hey, maybe A0, we already see him playing with another member, so already maybe adapting. KYCA and LJPH both pretty low, so to be honest, actually, this is quite possible. The smoke's going to drop. A0 follows it along, but is going to be identified by KYCA at the very least. There is the molly online. We shouldn't see any util come out. We should just see the guns, and that's exactly what we do.
Looks like, was trying to ask if Lugia wanted that operator, picked it up, and then dropped it back down to make, to give the worry to the Puffins that they do have the operator, and the Pit Ponies are back in an extremely well fashion. All these rounds coming for the side of them, and, 4 and 7 on the board. It is an attacker-sided map, so if the Puffins win this round, and then they end up winning pistol, then this is really doable for the Puffins to come back into it. But very good and very nice, mental comeback from the Pit Ponies.
Yeah, exactly. Holding your position, keeping that going. Again, going into Fractures. Well, it's a tough damn map if you're not prepared, but the Pit Ponies do absolutely seem prepped. Meanwhile, though, we do see this aggressive push again from the Puffins, which we have seen leaning towards Arcane. Sorry, shout out to a different Riot thing. But leaning towards Arcade. It's going to push Lugia away, but Kobe's going to push Ace0 into the afterlife. Get that plant down as well for LJPH. Their Tour de Force is online. There's the Neural Theft and everything Armageddon. That's quite a lot of control that you couldn't afford to give to the Pit Ponies as well. This is the penultimate, or this is the last round as well, so you've got to be getting value from these ultimates. Meanwhile, Kobe doesn't even need to pop anything just yet. He's just good getting his kills. Oh, Lugia, speaking of popping, the head from Rascal goes up. Chewy follows him, and Kobe deciding to live on that kill feed with him. That's a lot of stuff. We didn't even need to see the Armageddon popped for nothing more than just a bit of show.
8-4 now for the side of the Pit Ponies, and this is a really good half, considering as well, the Puffins did actually win the pistol round, and switching it and making it 8-4. That's a really good mental strong point. And I was, I'm so sorry to Lugia. I saw them, whiff at the start, missed that 1v1 in the pistol round that, costing the round. I thought they were going to be pressuring, but it seems quite the opposite. 10-7 on that chamber, and now has a really good chance to shine on defense with 4 rounds ahead of the enemy. As long as they can just, keep this lead up and make sure these sentinels get used very well, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of, just in case someone is a little bit worried looking at that, we do have a little, seems like a little visual bug. Armageddon is not online. Ignitrix has not managed to walk away with the ultimate currently active into the second half. That would be a little bit busted, so not the case. But we were talking about, how the Puffins even were playing the defense a bit aggressive. We see the flashes, we see the stuns, we see everything is already coming down. That tower control is absolutely going to fall. Meanwhile, speaking of, LJPH and KYCA both push into Chewy. There's no Sentinel now to back up this post-plant scenario, but at the same time, you have lost one of your most pivotal members in the ponies, so the Puffins are going to try and take as much space as possible. Lugia being caught with the knives out. You can't afford to lose that, unfortunately. Ailey is going to back him up with Kobe falling. Spike's now going to get planted for this 4 versus 2 post-plant.
Egner now, along with KYCA, we've seen these two do really big wonders, very big shooters for the side of the ponies. If they can, get something on the board, even find some 1v1s. We know A0 likes to peek out. We know Egner likes to peek out. Not Egner, sorry. We know that Rascal likes to peek out. If we can win these 1v1s, and this is the one he's talking about, a very important one now, 1v4. KYCA has to find 4 isolated 1v1s. But A0 wants that kill. He's swinging wide and is going to find that pick, unfortunately. KYCA probably didn't expect him to swing there.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, maybe not quite identifying as well. Of course, we get to see everything, ladies and gentlemen, so we get to, with the power of hindsight and obviously wall hacks, we get to say, kind of one thing or the other. That, of course, the members don't get quite as much as we do, so maybe not quite just identifying how aggressive Ace0 has been playing on that brim. He does seem to be trying to live up to LJPH, which I do love to see. Any type of mirror match that you see is always just an absolute great show. And that visual bug looks like that's going to be following with us for the rest of this half, so we'll try and keep you up to date on whether Armageddon is actually online or not for Egner. It's currently not, and we see this exact push coming through from the Puffins, but this time there's a little bit more deadly stuff. Rascal unfortunately banging his shins on the rope there, but doesn't matter when you're banging the brains out of Kobe's head that fast. KYCA falls as well, but Lugia, speaking of banging the heads out of people's, banging the brains out of people's heads, sorry. Triple kill follows it right back and puts the ponies in an incredible position.
That was really good angle to hold from Lugia, and as they all just swing one by one through that heaven spot, crosshair placement's really easy. There's no way you can, manage to bottle that. So really nice 3 kills there for Lugia.
It's incredible stuff, and now LJBH with the guns and everything as well. Chewy has been found. The salvos are terrifying. This is such annoying util to deal with. Tejo is an absolute pain. Ironically enough, despite Vise being in the roster, Tejo is probably more of a thorn in the side. Speaking of the thorn in the side here, we do see that little lurk from the back still towards the defender side. He doesn't actually believe in the stun, doesn't believe anyone's going to be there. Will find LJPH though eventually at the very least, and now Lugia getting flanked. Not going to find the timing on Chewy. And now it's a 2 versus 1. Egner's trying to buddy hop his way, but that rope's going to make some noise. There's not really too much you can do. You can try and get this jump peak, tries to get the swing, tries to get the pre-fire, but then finds both members of the Puffins. And unfortunately, after that beautiful 3k, the Puffins still walk away with it.
Puffins now really doing, to be fair, Lugia, they played that, they got the first 3 kills, a very nice play, but unfortunately just got caught off guard. And who expected Chewy to just wrap around there and actually take that out? Unfortunately, not a whole lot that can be done, but it's okay. That was a good eco. You got some guns off the table, and now they are going to have to invest. So if you're the pit ponies, you can get this down, but there might be a 3-round difference. Let's just hope that Puffins try not to convert this. If they do, I'm kind of worried if I'm the pit ponies if they convert this.
Exactly, and we do see, of course, that aggressive utility coming through. Rascal spitting through, but again, we have been seeing the salvos from Egner. Egner's actually been having quite a bit of fortune with that utility, which, does go to show how strong Tejo can be. But now, Kobe, unfortunately, has been trapped completely in the backline. Doesn't matter, at the very least, if the shots are going to come off like that. Lugia has went from an underdog to overachiever. Beautiful stuff done, and 1 versus 3 from Ilya. Trapped in this site, there's no main control from them. There's no dish control, as this Venus flytrap that is the Pit Ponies does seem to be closing in.
Right here.
The Pit Ponies now have a really good opportunity here, and as Ilya can find 3 1v1s, they all need to start swinging together, but no Ajibid in main, and no expect. Heard the drop, so, kind of putting focus towards that chamber, but, not going to do much as the defuse now comes to the side of the Pit Ponies, and now 6 to 9. to the side of the Pit Ponies, and we are 3 rounds away from another map.
Attention. Might learn
From
something.
that potential Lotus, and the flowers of hope are very much blooming for the ponies. They have been doing a phenomenal job keeping their mental, keeping their position, keeping their composure on really what should have been, and I'm going to keep mentioning it because we do see Fracture really be a struggle for teams that aren't prepared. We see Fracture be such a painful kind of moment of, okay, we maybe have the mechanics, but we don't have the plans and the strats that maybe we should. Meanwhile, the ponies, particularly from their struggles on Bind, you would kind of expect that maybe they would have a similar struggle on Fracture. Not at all the case, but the Puffins are now trying to shut any shenanigans down. But never mind, Egner just fighting Ace0 through the door. The pre-fire is actually near enough to find Testexi as well. Will not be enough as Kobe very much trying to survive on as little health as possible, but 4 HP. As long as you're not dead, you can still get frags, and that's exactly what Kobe does.
Kobe now, you know, really well done holding that on like 4 HP. Managed to go for 2 for 1, and this is actually a nightmare for the Puffins. Now, Pit Ponies finding their ground up on this Fracture map, on their map, takes it 2E. Okay, yeah, come off it. Ilya now in another 2v1. He's going to be walking through the smoke, grabbing the bomb, but it's, you know, instead of just Lugia, it's also Lugia and Egner coming down, trying to get them down, free firing, making sure they're not in the corner, tapping the bomb.
Teleport's ready.
Oh, stun comes through. The stick is going to be there, which I do like from confidence from Ilya, but unfortunately will mean that Lugia is going to just be able to tap him down. And yeah, I mean, that was incredible from both sides. We've seen the initial frags just through the door that were incredible. We then seen a beautiful double kill from Chewy. That lineup was just perfection. But unfortunately enough, despite excellent map awareness, excellent control, and excellent like just positioning to walk around that belt, that heaven area, just not going to be enough for them, unfortunately. But the gun disabling, the Mega Razor Bloom, is alive and well. There's a lot of ultimates coming online for the side of the Puffins. Meanwhile, the ponies really only have that Tour de Force to work with at the moment. 1 away from Armageddon and the Showstopper if you're Egner and Kobe, respectively. But we'll have to see if they're able to play around the ult orbs.
These ult orbs are, you know, really pivotal, and the Pit Ponies now kind of, you know, pushing towards, they want to get this extra opportunity, and it seems that they were mentally resilient enough to bring us into this map 3, but Puffins now have to do something. They need to get an answer. Losing that round is such a sad round to lose, but, you know, even if they can get this, the Vice ult comes through, and the Thorns are coming in, but, you know, the Moz is going to slow us down, and Rascal tripped out, is probably going to get sprayed, but unfortunately nobody could act upon this Cypher strip, and now they're on site. Retake is going to be started, and A0 getting this plant down, and now has the Brimmo online. But to be fair, they have no space. Rascal looks like they're pushing into space. Fire in the what? Never mind. LGBH had a bullet down for Rascal, and A0 too close. A little bit too close for comfort. LGBH taking it down, and now 3v4 for the side of the Pit Ponies. Chewy finding an extra, so's Ilya. Egner managing to trade out, making it a 2v2. Flash, good dodge by Egner, amazing reaction time. Chewy running through the smoke, punishing Chewy on this push. Now Ilya again in another clutch scenario. So far, 0 for 2. Actually, never mind, 1 for 3. Managed to get one against the second, but no! Lugia will put this down, and we are looking now 11 towards the Pit Ponies and Cummings. And we get this into a map 3. This is going to make the answer.
That is terrifying, and I just want to point out, because that angle specifically, with one member swinging from stairs and one swinging from like the box towards tower, that is actually a very bad angle to swing if you're kind of two separate, because Lendoth, as you've said a lot of times, you know, over the course of this series, you want to try and take 1 versus 1s, and you're very confident. We've seen how close Ilya actually was to getting that 180 onto the other member. Unfortunately, it just wasn't fast enough. Lugia does bring them down, but it was far closer than maybe they would have liked. We see 5 light shields from the side of the Puffins, which does mean that Outlaw, that's a 1-shot, 1-kill, assuming you can hit the body, which Lugia so far has refused to miss. The ults come through as Armageddon falls upon the A site main, will not find anyone, and now the Puffins are trying to push through as aggressive as possible. Rascal already with the Sans control. We do see the Showstopper pop by Kobe. Distexy is so aggressive, has no fear for the rocket launcher at all. Lugia and Egner, though, are going to try and equalize as much as possible, and they do just that. There's no ultimates online anymore other than that Brimstone orbital strike, but first of all, you know, you need the spike down to kind of get any amazing value off of it. The double swing, Lugia finds both of them through each other. The collaterals are disgusting.
Match point now for the Pit Ponies, and you know, they want to go towards this Lotus, and I would be worried if I'm the Puffins. We know, well, I know from I can't tell you how I know, but I know that the Pit Ponies have a really good Lotus. Okay, they have a really good Lotus, and back in my day, my IGLing days, I might have potentially scrimmed them, and potentially they were quite good. So I really want to see what they have cooked up and if they've changed anything. To be fair, this was months ago, last VUKC, to be fair. So this is a long time ago. But if it's still at that level, then I'm looking at a really good map 3.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're not quite done just yet. Lugi is going to try and get this done a lot faster than the Puffins would maybe like. The Rolling Thunder's going to come through. Lugi just finds the headshot through onto Ilya. I assume that was off of the Cypher tripwire, but it maybe wasn't. Egner, though, fighting against 0-3, and that's just everyone. The spike has been planted. It doesn't matter. That orbital strike that I'd mentioned, not even necessary, just for a fireworks display to send the Puffins off. 13-6, so the scores mirrored and flipped from that bind as we now go into Lotus with the teams basically as even as you can get them.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play. What a very resilient comeback from the Pit Ponies. At the start of the game, they didn't even look like the Pit Ponies. They looked like, they actually look like the Pit Ponies, but now it came to the Pit Horses or some stuff, bro. That was insane. That was actually very, very nicely done. But, what do you think, MadDante?
That's the Pit Chimeras. They have absolutely evolved into something into a greater form that we could not prepare for, and it doesn't seem like the Puffins were particularly prepared for it either. To have that be your map pick, and the fact that now we've had both teams play their map pick and lose by 7 rounds on each of them, that's quite a display of either how flexible both of the teams are, or how confident they are in maybe things they shouldn't be confident in. Which is 6 of one, half a dozen the other, of course. But we will let the teams just kind of jump in. Little 5-minute break, just get everyone, watered and fed, because, ladies and gentlemen, Lendoth, actually, just to remind everyone before we go, where are we heading off to?
We're heading off to Lotus, and, I did say potentially, potentially it's a very good Lotus, and potentially, we'll see how it goes, but I'm nervous just around the Puffins, that's all I'm saying. No biases.
See you soon.
Welcome back, everyone, and we have just been announced, and we are all going to go into the game very quick second, but, we just had a very good reverse stomp. So it was 13-6 towards the Puffins on Bind, and then it went 13-6 towards the Pit Ponies on Fracture, which, by the way, both maps completely different map picks of their teams, but it's okay, because now we are heading towards what?
Ladies and gentlemen, MadDante here back again, of course, and yeah, we are jumping off to Lotus for our third and final. Don't worry, I'll get right to you as well. Lendoth, of course, returning as always, our knight in shining armor. But yeah, absolutely, we will now be jumping off to Lotus for our third and final map. In terms of it, let me just check to see. The ponies will be defending first of all, and then the puffins obviously on attack. So what we went to see, here we go, the timing could not be more perfect. What we did see was, in my opinion, and I will say this, Lugia went from a kind of struggle on the first map towards that kind of, and now I've forgotten what the first map actually was. How have I done that? Bind. Yeah, there we go. Lugia kind of struggling with the Yoru on Bind, swapping over to the Chamber, being far more successful. I do like the fact we are seeing that hover towards the Chamber immediately. That does, kind of fill me with confidence, because Lugia has been absolutely popping off. Meanwhile, we've already got a full lockdown from the side of the ponies in terms of the comp. So what are you thinking about this, Lendoth?
To be fair, this is... Hey, I have no idea what's going on, bro. I was saying, whilst we're having our tea and coffees and whatnot in the production room, yeah, they're probably gonna run some omens. They're potentially gonna run an omen, but no, this is completely different. I have no idea. I regret every single thing.
I believe so. You said, and to be honest, it was a kind of vibe I agreed with, where you were going double controller sentinel or double initiator. Double controller and sentinel, I believe, was what you were going for initially. So that we have seen very different in terms of that. We see Ace0 now jumping over towards the Astra. Astra has been in and out of between probably the strongest controller in the game and then struggling to find any sort of space or activity. Starting to find a really comfortable space now. Of course, Teshu is going to still be there for, probably until he gets readjusted quite slightly. LJPH moving over. So you were saying about the Omen or the Brim, but no, we're getting single controller Harbor, which is mad risky.
Yeah, I completely agree. Mad risky for this simple because you have to do from across the map. But it seems Chewy's team, the Puffins going towards something just kind of regular. Teho, Astra. Obviously, Teho is still the newest agent in our pool, and we haven't actually gotten to know Teho for that long. But it feels like he's been here for ages. Known him for 15 seconds, but feels like 15 years.
Oh, damn right. And he has kind of burrowed his way in, just the utility and stuff we have mentioned, just with how long lasting it is, even if it doesn't get frags, which, to be fair, Egnar in particular has been fragging out with the salvos and such in particular. Usually you don't see the frags quite as much, but that just kind of goes to show you exactly how important your positioning of the utility is, how important it is to play around with your team as well. So, as we said, just because it's not quite up there at the moment, it is the ponies on the defense. I just want to get that. Yep, the ponies on the defense, and then, of course, the puffins on the attack. So far, leaning towards that C site as kind of the initial push. Meanwhile, we see quite an aggressive hold towards that A site, which is pretty standard for defense. You try and give as much control or gain as much control from that defensive side. And yeah, A's basically been gathered for free. We do see the push up as well from Lugia down that B. So it's basically guaranteed. Yeah, the defense should at least know, for the most part, there's a fair big push into C. And Ace0 spins off the frenzy, able to find its shots. KYC Idol shutting that down, and now we're slowing it all the way back down again.
Yeah, slowing this right down, and it looks like they're going to go for a rotate, but it does seem to be the Puffins have had a mass over rotation as A site is just completely free. But KYCA punished as trying to rotate, and looks like Lugia going into C now. Oh my god, has a really good opportunity to get full! But Chewy just comes out with a classic and manages to just put him down. How does he just get the confidence to do that? And if LJPH spraying the body, I would, wow, that is crazy confidence. You have to do something. You're a man down, but fair play. Fair play.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be completely honest. Lugia has stolen my heart a little bit. That is ridiculous. The amount of collaterals we've seen from Fracture as well. I did say it, earlier. For the initial game, Lugia, God love him, was kind of looking a bit weaker, a bit kind of scared. Then towards Fracture, you'd already lost your map pick as Yoru, you go in, but now Lugia has been turning it on this entire time. The Outlaw is back up yet again. Lugia has been a demon on that shot, so aiming towards that mid, because we've seen a very aggressive push from the ponies at the moment, but sadly, not going to be anything yet, because actually, it is an aggressive push, just not towards the site, they think, playing around the Astra Stars very effectively, and there's just yet no real space that the Puffins can get, but so far they don't need it.
Yeah, too suppressed, and now you're going to go into the solo Cypher site on A. with all that space, slow down. LGBH randomly has an Ares just out of nowhere. Gonna be spraying that, Arbor Wall, getting out on site, and Trapwire is gonna find Kobe, trying to spray and punish the Cypher, but playing in the smoke, being sneaky, but LGBH gonna run out with this Ares and punish Chewy. No trips left on site and nothing left to do. 4v5 retake, and everything starts to go downhill.
Oh, speaking of going downhill, Distex, he's going to fall in, but now gets stuck behind the Tejo utility. Egner's trying to back him up. Will at least get one, or sorry, it's Ilya trying to back up Distexy, but will fall, and Lugia then gets the shot with the Outlaw, as well as followed up by the Marshal on that site. Beautiful second, and yeah, incredibly solid stuff so far.
Yeah, and if you are, the side of the pit ponies being the attacking side, then this is a good start. On the final map, Lotus 3 bomb site map, if you can get like 8-4 or something, or even a 9-3, then you are looking really, really strong. However, this is not all over for the Puffins, as the Puffins are just, slowing down, trying to understand. The momentum has really been shifted, but now it looks like coming into this map pick that the pit ponies still do have that momentum.
Oh, and speaking of Lugia trying to, but you can't hit every shot, even if you're doing incredible stuff, you eventually do have to miss. No one has a 100% accuracy, unfortunately. And here we go, we do get to see it now with that overlay. There you go, apologies for delay on that. Ace0 popping in and popping Kobe out of this round. That's a very unfortunate entry. You do lose your raise, you don't even get much control. Speaking of that though, there we go, we see the salvos come through, and that's the power of Tejo. That basically immediately shuts down any control that you may try and retake. We do now have a post-plant scenario for the pit ponies with this Vise. Razor Bloom online, the Harbor Wall is going to go up, and the Spike going to go down.
LGBH planting, and Nade comes down to site, then lays the plant a bit more, but it doesn't even look like they're going to full commit into this. Looks like the call has been made to just go somewhere else, and Distexy has this breach stun ready. It's going to stun the 2 people at the door, and now they're looking towards A, and this is a regular call. They have, they had sight, they could put the bomb down, but now they've put themselves into a pickle where they have 30 seconds left, and they have to find something of it. But it doesn't even look like they're going to go for this full B commit here, as they all start running it down towards this A site. I thought it was going to be B, but never mind. But it looks like Egner is just going to walk, okay, with the Sheriff putting Ilya down, and this is now starting to turn into a confidence game. This Dexy as well, next to go, and now the pit ponies are taking this and might convert this bonus and put Puffins on the back foot.
That's really terrifying as well. Of course, you've bought all the guns for the members of the Puffins. If you do fall, Chewy at the very least is going to be pulling down KYCA, trying to take them off a little bit of that high horse. Now it's all about how you play in and out of these smokes. It's 3 versus 3. The spacing of the ponies is absolutely great. You do see one towards me and one towards Tree, and then the only one that is actually on that site is going to be the Harbor. There is from LJPH. The Ares comes through, sprays Chewy down. Rascal though will find it. So will the Asiro actually. Puffins have done a great job converting this. Of course, it's down to who else but Lugia. The wide swing is there from Rascal. It's not enough, and there's only 1 HP left for Ace0. No! It's not going to be enough. It was so close, and Ace0 clutch enough to put me into song.
Yeah, no bias. I don't
No
know why
bias,
I said
no bias.
No, I mean, no
bias, no bias.
No favorites. Oops, daisy. Yeah, and Acer calling a timeout already. They must be feeling the pressures, how they've nearly lost that round instantaneously.
I mean, it was close. Yeah, you mentioned how
Cheers,
you mentioned how close it was, how kind of standard that rotate was, but the Puffins didn't necessarily seem to be ready for it. However, their retake, their control was just good enough, and I had mentioned, to be honest, maybe I was a bit wrong on that call, because I did say how the ponies were kind of set up that looked pretty good, but whenever you have someone on the other end of tree, I believe there was a member in tree, so you're able to swing off of that. But if you have to wait for that door to open, you give away so much information, as well as the fact you're obviously not going to be there to back up your team immediately. So having one member at the back of tree, or behind the door, I should say, sorry, and then another one in link, you're kind of losing one player immediately. So the pit ponies positioning there maybe could have been just slightly better.
Yeah, I completely agree. But, all is well. They nearly got it. LGBH was just on site with the Ares, and he managed to get 2, but that was really doable for Lugia. Unfortunately, just went a bit too wide at the wrong second, and he got put down, but very nicely done from A0, nicely handled. Seems that, we put A0 in all the aggressive roles, but, I mean, all the non-aggressive roles, but it just seems to be playing them so aggressively.
Which, to be fair, now that there's some confidence, I mean, we talk about, obviously, if you've kind of, you know, if you've joined us before for WEL, we'll talk about it in a minute, actually, once the utility goes immediately down and half of A site has blown up. Speaking of blowing up, LJVH is going to blow up Ilya Play right through that wall. That is just deadly. That is an insane angle to get. That is unfortunate to lose your life to that Odin, but that's exactly why those guns are popped the way they are. We do see then the aggressive push from this C-side. Meanwhile, though, Rascal's just putting down Lugia. LJVH going to do that jump peek and finds himself too. Ace0 then following up on the KYCA, and I do like this. I like the pop of the Astro Stars. I like this. I like getting out. There has been maybe little moments of kind of over-aggression from the Puffins. I love this. Get the frag, use your util to get out, and then retake, force the ponies to push back into you yet again.
Yeah, and, you know, door opening up and then coming towards this B side, you know, but they have Rascal, being a little Rascal and actually doing it. Oh, Distexy had a really good pick. Distexy has really fallen off a little bit. All the confidence in the world in the first game. Dropped a massive 18 and 9 on Sky with 5 assists. But now Rascal has to do a lot here. And about to spray it into the cross of LJPH, but no, this man is on a tear with the Odin. Has gotten 3 of it, and the IGL is doing it all himself again. I have no idea how this is working, but he is having a whale of a time. Door isn't even open, and now the the info and the will coming through, but Kobe is going to be put down by Chewy. Tail Molly's come through, and they're being delayed. Now, Harbor all getting put in as well, and now they're stuck. 2v1, Chewy has a lot to do, and Khan Egner, nicely done, nicely handled. 3-1 to the Pit Ponies, and will put the Puffins on an eco round.
That is an insane call. I'm basically going to spend the next 20 seconds talking about the use of the Reckoning, which is Harbor's ultimate. For anyone that doesn't know, Ring comes around underneath you, and you've got about like a second and a half to kind of step out of it. If it doesn't, it stuns you, and obviously then shooting is a nightmare. What happened there was Ace0 was just gathered enough, or was just hit by the ult enough that Egner suddenly had the information that Ace0 is going to push close. Without that, probably wasn't going to get the flick and wasn't going to get the frag. So I was initially going to call out that ult as maybe a bit too kind of proactive and maybe not ready. No, completely incredible and excellent game sense from LJPH there to keep this advantage going. Puffins now struggling with the economy and the utility.
Yeah, 3-man, well, looked to be a 3-man push for the side of the Pit Ponies onto that C site. Was actually a 2-man push, and now they've gone into the heaviest side, but LJPH has an Odin and is about to get punished from heaven by Chewy. Yep, just like that, walked into the trip. But, you know, is going to get this out, and they're going to convert this eco, and it's going to put us for a 3-2. Backside now, and the Astral Wall comes up. Concuss, Khan, dodges, KYCA, Vice, tapping bomb. They don't even know if they're planting. They're through the wall. They have no idea what's going on. It's, you know, the Wonder Squad, you know, Lugia and KYCA, these two have always been high fraggers for the Pit Ponies. And if there was a time for them to shine, it was now. On a map 3 for a spot in the grand final, Lugia finds a 0, 3v2. Half health from Ilya. Taken down, I'm biting my words. And Lugia is doing it all himself, and KYCA going wide. They need to coordinate this. Distexy's 20 HP, but they're both also 1. If Distexy lands 2 body shot flicks, 3-2-1 swing together. A miss. You can't wall down that, my friend. I don't think so. Not with the Vandal, but, you know. Anyway, back to the immersion. And the spraying and the swinging. Lugia has just done this all himself. What an amazing round for Lugia.
I mean, yeah, shout-outs. Lugia has just been on a tear. That first round was that first game, nothing more than a warm-up, and Lugia is now on fire. You're going to have to be very worried if you are the side of the Puffins, as this momentum is starting to kind of carry away, though. But to be fair, we are saying that not as if that wasn't incredibly close. The ponies really were struggling for that. The Astral Wall from Ace0 there, for anyone that doesn't know or hasn't experienced Astro in a while, as Lendoth was saying, you can no longer hear anything through it. It used to be muffled. It's now dead silence, which is why the Puffins were a bit unaware of that spike initially going down. Might have created more harm than good. That Cosmic Divide is quite double-sided sometimes. So, meanwhile, on the round now, just this push up through the mid. Very quiet, very patient.
Grabbing the orb now, and to be fair, the Puffins were doing really well to actually, you know, get that round. You know, I believe that was their low buy, but, you know, very nice recovery, especially from Lugia to just put all them down himself in a 4v2 retake. Just absolutely shined. Now the Pit Ponies, all the econ in the world, all the money in the world, and it looks like they're pivoting towards B.
Here we go, and the paint
We'll
shells are
see.
going to come through. Oh, Ace0, unfortunate. The swing was good, but Lugia is just a little bit faster. The angle from Chewy, though, that's what you want to see. You want to be seeing a little bit more frags. The stun's going to come out. Chewy's trying to get the shot onto Lugia there. Does get to see the head just thanks to that little shiny stun animation. Armageddon's going to fall onto the site. Rascal drops a paint shell onto LJBH's head as well. Chewy trying to protect. His teammate does actually steal the showstopper from Rascal. Doesn't matter because it's one, but oh my days, KYCA has gotten 3. Oh my days, no way. We have mentioned KYCA and Lugia have been the 2 to watch for. He's not ready for Chewy at that angle. It's a beautiful one tap to see 3 members of your team die and still go for that one tap into changing the gun. Chewy's confidence will refuse to falter.
No, and to be fair, I thought his confidence was falling from that fracture map, but looks like he's come in with a name of the game. But this Dexy I was talking about has dropped. It seems that, you know, the pressure of getting that spot in the grand finals is gonna start coming towards them. However, if you are new, there is a new, you know, like little second league, the challenges elimination stage, which I believe the losers do go down to that, if I am correct.
Yarp, yarp, yarp. That is correct indeed.
So we will, you know, I don't think they will be streamed, but they will have a life at 3rd place. But for now, the Tejo Mollies are coming out on C, and Rascal and Ilya are waiting for something, but Lugia, crosshair on point. Maybe they've gone into it, but no. They have 3 people here. They want to do a trap play, but they're not going to get the chance. Cypher is well on B, and Ace0, we've seen how aggressive he likes to be, but stuck on this site now as 5 ponies come through. They've heard the orb tap, and now they're starting to get worried. Stun, Bisol, everything coming in. Tejo Molly, all they have is a classic, and Kobe is going to have to, you know, Kobe this Razor and find some, but unfortunately it will be a Rosa. And on site now, Ace0 gets a gun, but, you know, KYCA just unfortunately ran into the classic right click, and now Egner trading it out. Kobe going for one, taking Dexty down, and now we're looking to be in the 3v4, but Rascal, beautiful shot as the running Kobe is trying to get away. And now it seems to be another 3v3 post-plant scenario, except the Pit Ponies do have an extra gun on their sleeve, and that will be the Chamber Headhunter, along with, you know, just a beautiful, nice shots again. As I'm talking about the Chamber Headhunter, headshot onto Rascal. You know, I don't even know how I can cast that there, but it is what it is, and now the bomb is going to be tapped.
Oh, that's beautiful from Ilya. The stick is going to be there. That is half, but the Odin from LJVH is going to shut him down. Egner, just incredible good usage, and building off actually what we said in terms of the Pit Ponies, that aggressive push, or that hold that we had, I believe it was 3 rounds ago now, I did say that, you know, having someone behind that tree, behind the door and tree, that's going to really struggle. Turns out, when you can have a suitable gun that does wallbang, which the Odin absolutely does do, yet makes life quite a bit easier. LJPH doesn't have to near as much be concerned or be worried about how he swings or takes the fight, because, well, he knows where you are. You have no clue where he is other than the bullets that are currently raining down upon you. So the ponies are just being very, very good at taking this momentum and keeping it going. We see how accurate that is. There's not going to be too much damage for the side of the ponies now, but this has been a 4-man stack towards this A site. They do not want anyone pushing up from the ponies, and they've just left Chewy all on his own towards that C site.
The C site now is going to come through, and to be fair, what can you do? Ace0, what?
Oh! Goddamn. Kobe with the 3k, immediately shutting down any hope the Buffins had. Chewy with the bucket on the backside. So far, hasn't pushed through. The Odin spray is already through there. KYCA is going to be fast enough on the trigger, unfortunately for Chewy. And Dystexy stuck all on his own on this B site. There's no map control for him. There's got a hell of a shot for him though, but he doesn't prepare. He doesn't seem to be recognized that Kobe's going to be there. No, he does not, Kobe. Beautiful 4K. That triple was disgusting. I hope we get to see that in a highlight.
To be fair though, that is going to be a tilter. Like, I would be so annoyed if that happened to me.
Oh yeah.
And see how resilient the Puffins can be from that. Getting 3 down like that, I didn't think they could even see him. I think A0 was just the only one seeing, but got 3 of them. There you go. The round's pretty much the ponies as they start taking this away. The lead getting up again. What was to be, you know, a 2-1 lead towards, no, well, not even 2-1 lead. It was just a 1-round lead. And now we're going towards 6, so nearly pretty much 4 rounds, and getting pretty scary.
Yeah, 4 rounds and even a little bit of change because this econ hasn't really let up. And again, you've got Chamber cheating that, so you'll have even more econ to work with if you do have a couple round losses, which the Puffins have very much shown they can give the ponies. Oh, that little yellow head, and Lugia is not going to be able to find the shot on that. KYCA, though, you did mention that dream team, and so far they have been very much living up to that duo, that fearsome duo indeed. Kobe shutting down Chewy as well on that main. No concerns there. Stexy, though, needing to come alive, and absolutely is so far. We do now see the Reckoning online and the Rolling Thunder for each side.
I'm sorry to cut across, but what is the Raze doing on that attacking side? We have a lurking Raze all the way in spawn. How is he gone there? I have no idea, but you know, we have Kobe just doing wonders and just trying to figure something out, but doesn't even look like the Stex is going to go to the way of Kobe, so it's pretty much just been a 4v5 the entire round.
Just cutting to Kobe is more of a meanwhile there. To be fair though, all the space in the world, he did get that initial pick onto the kind of B link towards C, so that did create a decent bit of space, but the ponies, or the Puffins, sorry, not really able to work with the that space anyway, so while it was good, probably not going to be too pivotal. Speaking of pivotal though, Destex, he only has to do that twice more. The Odin has been terrifying from LJPH. You might want to consider burning the ult here. No, unfortunately that swing a little bit too tight, and Egner's going to bring Destexy down.
From Egner as he whips out the new accessible foot and the Meow and the Radiant flags. Okay, Egner, I see you, my bad. But, you know, really nicely done. And this, you know, what was a dominating half from the Puffins in game 1, you would say these teams have just completely swapped players. And now Pit Ponies are just taking this away as we start building up. And 5 rounds now between the two. And if the Puffins want to get a good shot, they want to look to get 4 or 3. Well, not even 3, to be honest, 4 or 5 max. They need rounds on this. To be fair, it is an attacking side and map, so Pit Ponies do have a good advantage here. But spraying now with the Odin LGPH isn't going to find any tick damage whatsoever, but he's just going to let them have it with the entire mag. As we can see as we can see Kobe and KYCA working towards the C as the trip at the start of the site is just going to hold them back.
Cypher Cam going to get spotted out. Kobe just kind of preempting the paint shells. Yeah, we do see that's not going to actually hit too much. The Cypher trip is going to stay alive. Doesn't mean that they're going to walk into it. No pre-fires or any shots yet. Lugia with a beautiful shot under Rascal, splitting off and going into Destexy as well. We have mentioned him being warmed up. To be fair though, that is going to be the econ from the side of the Puffins is struggling a little bit. So they will have this round at the very least just to try and do some damage. But the ponies have so much to work with. Chewy wiggling away. Not going to get caught by the Arc Rose, and Kobe just sealing away. That is disgusting from the Bucky. KYCA popping Chewy's head at least very much to keep this alive. Egner as well finding Ilya all the way on that B main, and again we've just got so much control coming through. Ace Zero not going to be able to do too much here yet. It's a beautiful swing from Egner. Very patient. The jump peeking happening, and now Ace Zero has to do everything.
To be honest, Ace Zero, what was looking really nicely done at the start of the round, they managed to deny the space. We had Chewy do really well to get one on site, but has now gone to a nightmare as this retake scenario. Ace Zero triggers the wall and the thorns, and there's no way they can even get through this. All the U-turn on the world, Lugia just spraying and praying. It doesn't even get the kill. It's Egner that takes it from him, but now 8-2 towards the Pit Ponies. And to be fair, the Puffins used that timeout way too early. You know, they used that like 3 rounds into the half. Won that, and they want to take time out, and now, you know, what do you do when the momentum builds and you have only buy phases to speak to your team? It's looking pretty dangerous.
No, it very much is. We are starting to see the ponies just kind of walk away with it. In theory, if the Puffins can get a little bit, as you said, you know, they can only get 4 at this point. But looking at the comps just very quickly, I mean, the Puffins do have a lot of global utility. They've got the Cypher, they've got the Astra. Even Tejo, to an extent, is kind of global utility. So there is a lot for the Puffins on the attacking side just to, you know, with it already being attacking favoured, there's a lot of control that they can gain. Meanwhile, the ponies do have to kind of commit a bit more towards the pushes. We do see the push up through B main. Every member of the Puffins now knows it's a full commit towards this C site. Kobe with the rocket fuse tries to get any shot down. Chewy will bring him down. The show has been stopped and Kobe dies. We see the Rolling Thunder popped as well. The spike has been planted, but the neural theft as well. NJBH with that Odin has been so terrifying, just tearing down everyone. You can see the showstopper from Rascal as well pointing down. Lugia with a beautiful shot, makes it a second and puts down Chewy trying to get the defuse. And with everything bar the kitchen sink being thrown by the Puffins, the ponies need this.
The ponies absolutely do need this, and to be fair, you know, if they get 10-2 and the Pit Ponies win the heart, it's looking dangerous. However, this is not one you can lose. The buy isn't even towards the Puffins here. All the buys are low buys, apart from the only thing that they kind of can rely on here will be an Astral Wall to, kind of suppress information and maybe one off the Armageddon from Ilya, but it doesn't look to be the case. Rascal, nading, stun, pushing towards this A, trying their best to achieve a dream of a grand final just like they got last season, but it doesn't even look like it will be happening. Tag, Kobe finding Rascal, and this looks to be the beginning of the end for the Puffins as they start to have to scurry away and try and make sure that they can get something. Ultimate's being used by the Pit Ponies. They managed to find something, but the A site is just completely open and no one has a gun apart from Chewy, the seem-to-be team captain, trying to walk out on the stairs, has the Guardian. Kobe finding the Stexty, but Ilugia is going to be watching the flank and he's going to be expecting this. 2 quick kills for him. There's one, doesn't expect the second one. Finds out, and there's Ilya. Armageddon achieved, and now the Pit Ponies are going to close this out and make it, if they can, as long as Ilya doesn't let this slide. A lot of bodies to go through though, and a lot of kills to try and get, and stuck in a corner of Tejo Mollies, and that is 10-2. The Pit Ponies are looking vicious right now.
Yeah, they really are. And again, it's very difficult to kind of say, of course, but Ilya, you have Armageddon. You might as well drop it. It's the last round regardless. You might have been able to force 1 or 2 preemptive swings. You might have been able to split up someone. So that is quite a major thing that could be looked at for any future. Of course, it likely wasn't going to be the difference maker in a 1 versus 5 with everyone staring at you and the spike being planted. But, still can be. And here we have it now. Or sorry, and the spike just being down and not accessible for yourself. So now we have a hell of an uphill battle for the Puffins. If they can get this pistol round, maybe, as I said, their global utility, they've got quite a lot to work with. Astra, Cypher, and Tejo to an extent can all basically do anything on any side, but double Sentinel for the Pit Ponies is going to make that real difficult.
Yeah, the real difficult challenge now is if they have that. I think the key word I've spoken about this entire stream is mental resilience. In these structured games, everyone has to be on the same page and no one has to worry. But the Stexy now is going to get another 2 and 2v5, sorry, for the side of the Puffins. And it doesn't look like all is out of the gas chamber yet. They still have something, and the gas in that car is starting to move this momentum and bring it forward.
A little bit. The arc rows and such are going to pop off at the very least. That is going to cut off a little bit of time, but still, as you mentioned, it's 2 versus 5 for what is essentially going to be a retake for the Ponies in this scenario. You've got a lot of utility that you have to manage to get through with nothing but pistols. There's not even a sheriff online. The drone scan on that B link towards C is not going to be enough on that waterfall, I should say. KYC trying to get the hole here, but trying to get the hull here, I should say. Distex using the stun actually misses as well. KYCA will punish that as much as they can, which unfortunately isn't too much. Egner now trying to pop off with what they can, with the mollies, with the stuns, with the concuss, but the positioning from Distex, it's actually ace-0 as well on the flank if Distex hadn't landed that shot, but as you said, maybe this car, maybe it was just a couple of false starts.
Maybe it was just a false start, but to be fair, pedal on the metal, trying to get as much momentum as we can now, and as long as that gas does not get run out, they can really bring this, but obviously there's no fuel station to fuel them back up, so unfortunately, it's now or never is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. You got to hit the gas. You can't really. I mean, you can maybe hope to force the timeout from the side of the Ponies. The Puffins, of course, have already burnt theirs. Ponies have yet to use theirs, so they do have a shot at it. And if the Puffins can force that out, then maybe you're happy. We see Kobe just dancing around the flashes, no concerns. The paint shells are going to fall down, but it's not going to be a big A push. 4 members of the Pit Ponies have been committed towards that A hold. We do see one of them splitting off towards B. That is going to be, of course, LJPH sitting right next to that wall. The shooting is going to be enough, and the Vise wall. That is the power of Vise. The aftershock's going to come through to try, but LJPH has already got that pick and ran off. That is absolutely insane because you only need pistols now. The Razor Vines are going to stop the push onto C. LJPH as well, trying to trap them in that cove. But it looks like because of it, the Puffins have now 180'd again. But there's going to be Egner sitting on that B main. We've already got the rotate from Kobe as well. Very healthy members of the Puffins as they're going to try and get this push. Filthy.
It doesn't even look like Chewy, so it looks like the Puffins are not done yet. It seems to be that it might be time for the Puffins to bring something in, and it's really good that they're not losing that pistol round. You know what I mean? It's we talk about momentum, we talk about resilience, and if this is a truly reflected upon team, this is going to be really, really strong.
Got some time, but speaking of, Lugia has been doing these swings basically the whole time, having to flick away from the Arc Rose, which is going to cause a little bit of problems. They do know where Lugia is. Ilya's going to shut him down. It has been Ilya versus Lugia a lot of the time. Not as much over the course of this game so far, but maybe starting to come back. The mollies that take so long to detonate are going to kill enough time, even if KYCA is good for one. Not going to really want to be saving that Stinger, and does give Ilya the ult point towards that Armageddon. So 4-10, pretty big, but now you've got an econ advantage if you're the ponies. Now you just take this home.
Let's see if they can do this though. This full buy is going to be a big one for the side of the pit ponies. If the Puffins convert this bonus, then the comeback's truly on. Then I'm scared.
Oh,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Then I'm excited.
And then it's adapt or die, as very much Vice would inform you. KYCA even really starting to show up. Some of the util advantage has been incredible from them. A lot less assists than we were seeing in the first two games. We were seeing like 14-15s on the Bind and Fracture, so it just seems to be coming down to a lot more gunfights rather than the utility, which, to be fair, Lotus is a big map. Not as surprising to see that. LJPH trying his best to cut off this A push, and again, what you will see time and time again is how important this A control is. Basically, every member of the Puffins has burnt some form of utility. The ponies should have the information, particularly as well with Lugia pushed all the way up on that C Sands. The trademark as well towards that B site. You've got to know it's A, and it's going to come down to these first fights. Distex, he brings it first hand to get to Kobe. That's tree control. Ilya following it up. That is A site basically free.
This is looking doable. This is looking very doable, Puffins. If they can get 5 on this board now, 3v5, but we were forgetting Thanos is... I mean, Lugia is still alive, you know? It's still alive, still kicking, so if they can even push this down, LGPH is right behind them, but they're willing to use the Rolling Thunder. They want this round. Door is about to be opened, but if LGPH just... Okay, okay.
Love the wall.
The wall up to cut him off. And now all gonna push out. Rascal out the smoke. A0 gets 2. Oh my god. LGPH has done a lot of work for them. Stun. Really nicely done by LGPH in that 1v3 scenario. Bomb taken away. And this might be 5. LGPH, if you lose the next round or 2, call the timeout. Slow down the momentum. We cannot be stuck on 10.
Oh, and you might be stuck on 10. Now the Puffins are starting to fly. The ponies maybe have been, put back into the shed for the night, depending. We'll have to see if they can break free of the reins and run wild for the rest of the 3 rounds. But yeah, incredible stuff from the Puffins. Really good. The Harbor Wall was absolutely wacky. Loved it. LJPH, that was a beautiful double spray. Onto, I believe, was A0 and Rascal, so they weren't even able to, take you 2 versus 1. Still had that confidence to get the shots in. But the ultimate's still online. Rolling Thunder and a lot more coming online for both. Egner still trying to take this space, which has caused a lot of problems, and we do see it following up yet again. Rascal breaking him down. Lugia trying to get this flank towards the mid, followed up by 2 other members, I should say, sorry, of the ponies. Meanwhile, it's just Kobe trying to kill as much time as possible, but it looks like the Puffins are ready. The tripwire's going to get tagged. Lugia is going to get limbo danced under by Dexty, and and they are completely prepared for just 180 to happen. LJPH is now sitting here listening to the thunder thighs of the entire Puffins roster stomp away towards C. Tries to get the frag on the Rays, who's just lagging behind, not going to be able to.
And now, for a spot in the grand final, you really are going to, pedal to the entire mountain. They're actually pulling this back. And, what we're looking at is such a complete, nice revamped team. It seems like in that 45 seconds they had, and they also get that timeout now. So if it starts getting a bit worrying, then yeah, fair play. You can do something from it, but it doesn't look to be the case. A0 is going to put Kobe down, and now LGPH in another 1vx scenario. But can he even do much? Doesn't look like he's going to even try. He's just going to sit there and wait. Heiho drone did not spot him, but they are aware of his presence anyway. A0, unfortunately, Chewy IGL on Captain Fight, and LGPH is taken down, and now a flawless for the Puffins, and they're going to get that nice weapon upgrade, and they still have the Rolling Thunder, and now Lugia has picked up an up, so we're going to have to see how this goes on.
I mean, this is it. You're now running it. You're now staring down a chamber. So we were talking about the utility and stuff, obviously. Lugia basically gets 1 for free. There's basically no utility in the game unless you really start trying to get, cheeky with the salvos and predicting where the rendezvous is going to be. For anyone that doesn't know, that's what Lugia has just placed down there. That little teleport basically means, yeah, Lugia gets to take this shot entirely for free, flick their fingers, and all of a sudden they're back safe and tucked away in Waterfall. The does look to be Cypher control from Chewy there is at least going to tag Lugia, but Lugia, no fear at all. There is this fight for A site still going through. The Cypher cage is being trapped. The crab walk, both members are going to try and crawl through. Meanwhile, the rolling thunder as well. Lugia is going to find A0. At least Chewy, though, backing up, gets KYCA. Lugia, of course, able to teleport out with the strength of that. And now the spikes down towards that A site with one member down for each team.
Member down, but, you know,
Right there.
the two crucial roles. Puffin's losing that smoke. That's going to be quite hard to hit a site, and all the angles they're going to have to look out for. They're going to have to do it coherent, and they're going to have to do it together. As long as, you know, Egner isn't stuck in tree, trying to get something done. Maybe they'll clear him out. They open this door, you know, maybe pop a stun in there, and you know, that should be a free kill, but doesn't seem to be the case, as now we have two of LJPH and Kobe pushing outside of B, but they are going to be met with a Cypher trip, and they are not going to be able to flank. And this seems to be an Egner masterclass if they clear him out. Off angle, though. Very weird angle. Ilya is going to take him down. Cypher cam and the stun. Dodges the stun. Double swing together. Unfortunately misses. Chewy gets it. Still did really well to be in such a committed position. 3v3, and now all the players are not together. Tapping ults, tapping bomb plants. And now this is going to be a start of a 3v3 retake, and a very important one, if that.
Oh, and Lugia has to start us off here, and that's the one miss I think we've seen from Lugia, and it might be the most pivotal that we've had so far. Chewy's going to follow it back up. You could not afford to miss that. The showstopper's just been popped through. Rascal's just staring at the wall. LJPH will at least shut down any Blair Witch shenanigans that may or may not be going on with the spike. Still ticking down LJPH. A decent amount of time playing, Destexy playing off of the tripwire. Now that's going to give all the information. Destexy playing this off angle again, sees the gun barrel, no concerns there, is going to drop LJPH. Beautiful patience, beautiful positioning, beautiful comeback.
Oh my god, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen. LGPH is going to call that timeout. We are going to slow down and see what the momentum shift is, and they're going to try and figure out exactly how it goes. And you'd think that the pit ponies would be really well, especially with this double Senti comp, you know. They have AYCA and Lugia. One is just having a whale of a series, absolutely amazing. Maybe not so much in the first map, but has just really come to shine on this chamber role. But now, you know, there's no Iron team, so we do have to figure out exactly what's going on and where our weaknesses are.
Yeah, exactly. There is an eye in timeout, though, so for the next 35 seconds, you've got to be understanding exactly what's causing those issues. But it has been, so far, a phenomenal series for both sides. If you look at the Puffins, though, 5 rounds back-to-back with no real econ cheat. You've got Lugia obviously able to pop Headhunter, Tour de Force if they play around the Alt Orbs, which are very easy to do. This map does have a bunch of them, so you are allowed to mess around with that. You know, you've got one towards that A site, one towards that B, and then one towards that C. So pretty free as well if you are the defenders, if you try and commit to one of them. So we'll see if they try and do that. They don't really have much other opportunity right now. Their econ is pretty bare. So now the Puffins are hopefully looking to push this advantage even further.
Yeah, the advantage now is 10-7, but Puffins do need to do, you know, the pit ponies do need to step up and find something. LGPH is going to be the one to buy this judge and hopefully can find some masterclass of picks. But if you're the Puffins, you're getting confident, you're getting ready, you know. But to be fair, it's also kind of nerve-wracking because you don't want to make a mistake now, but you can't think about that, especially in a semi-final.
No, you can't indeed in the Cosmic Divide. See, I really like the placement here. This is quite a lot better for the Puffins. They even do, obviously, they open towards door. No info towards that and whether it's happening. And you do see, actually, the ponies are scrambling a little bit. They're very much buying into this A push. Kobe does hear at least one footstep. Doesn't matter whenever Rascal's got shots like that. The rest of the team now going to just fly through, and both Armageddons are online for the ponies, and KYCA also online with a beautiful shot. Egner to follow it up. Those are just sheriffs. You aren't meant to take those fights and win, but if you're that damn good, yes you can. The judge is still sitting there from LJPH, though, trying to find any over-aggression. Armageddon's gonna fall. Egner's gonna fall just as fast. The Razor Vines are gonna come through as well. You cannot have your guns out. You must adapt or die. Lugia trying to get the plant, but now we see why Tato was so annoying. Chewy comes through. Mean to pick up 2 and 3. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting spicy.
The comeback has come on. We went from 2-10 to 8-10 in a matter of rounds. And if this is the fashion to do it, to get into the grand finals and end this rivalry that we have every season, every semi-finals, it's always been these two teams, where it usually is the pit ponies that end up taking the cake. I think, you know, I'm not exactly sure on the record, but I know that, you know, they go backwards and forwards. They are, you know, always having a good time. But now the captain of the team, Chewy, is just tearing up the scoreboard, 20-12, and they have the economy to back it. This is pretty much a big round for the Pit Ponies. They need to win this.
They really do, and Lugia informing you exactly you want to play, let's play. Unfortunately, no one's playing on that A site. It's basically a full commit towards C, with that one little delay being, of course, Chewy sitting on that mid lurk, trying to find anything. The Aftershock's going to come through to try and push Egner off that waterfall. But the mollies are coming through again. The salvo, very terrifying. You lose 2 of your members. Ilya at least getting that position for the salvo onto Kobe and getting it. But if you push through this wall now, you are slowed. And Egner, we've seen that has the crosshair placement. Never mind. He finds him, gets all the space and control in the world now. 3 versus 3. You need to try and get KYCA off of this hall if you're gonna have a shot.
To be fair though, I'm not sure why they expect like the second look, the LGPH, but you know, thought he had a read, but you know, he doesn't see the map like we do, so I guess it's fair enough. They could have been going back. They have been doing a little bit of sneaky steps backwards forwards from sites, but now, as we can see, this going into a 3v3, opening the door to, you know, make it, you know, not aware of where exactly everyone's coming from. But it looks like A0 and Destexy are going to get in this smoke, and they're about to jump out. Coming in, KYCA just isn't aware, and he gets to... Oh my, Lugia! Lugia, sorry, just completely takes it down in 1v1 between Ilya and Lugia. We've seen these two fight all the time, but can Lugia find this? Misses it under, and he flicks it! Thanos just comes in! I mean, Lugia just comes in and completely takes it down and wins the round for the Pit Ponies. What an amazing round! And a good round to win if you're the Pit Ponies. That is going to be a good confidence boost for Lugia. You are still in the game. You are not down and out.
I mean, Lugia doesn't understand he's not playing Clove, right? Because Clove has not dead yet. Chamber doesn't. That's filthy. So let's review like just very quickly, because that happened very quickly. Ace0 and Destexy, beautiful double stack onto that smoke there through the Astra smoke. They pop it beautifully. The timing is excellent. KYCA pushes in, gets immediately fried by both of them. Lugia essentially has to land a 1 in a million shot with a tour de force, lands that shot and then pulls the headhunter out and does exactly as its namesake commands and drops the other member, bringing it then back to what was, of course, one of the most beautiful flicks that the WEL has probably ever seen.
And to be honest, now, you know, you're looking at all the confidence in the world. You know, you have the TP, you have your team, and everyone, you know, thank God you haven't just completely annihilated the chances, but the chances are still there. The Puffins can still win this as long as they can look past that. 3v2 scenario is kind of sad to lose, but it is what it is.
And here we go now, speaking of the scenario, Chewy getting caught actually by the drone. The trades are coming through step by step towards this. The B push though has been going on. Chewy has gotten this control pretty much for free. Kobe though getting that pick on the A0. That's mental. Chewy has been trying to do so much on his own. Rascal now backing him up. 2 versus 2. It's all around playing around this Cypher cage. Egner will shoot the gun and give their position away. The neural theft, of course, now telling you exactly where KYCA is now. KYCA has had some clutch moments when they need it, but this might be too tall in order. The paint shells are coming through. The spike is going to be tapped. Is actually going to be stuck, just deciding to get it to half. Neither member of the pump is pushing through. The double tap comes through. The pre-fire as well from KYCA. Rascal falls. KYCA having no real clue where Chewy is. That Chewy, that read is disgusting. Pushes through, doesn't swing the whole way. The headshot is going to come down, but I don't believe it's going to be enough time. Chewy with the read of a lifetime.
Might have heard a step or something. I don't think I heard a step, but that is a very sad round to win, to lose if you're KYCA, but an amazing and actually incredible read from Chewy. That was actually insane. Fair play to him. The confidence to do that is insane.
And that is as well. I mean, you lose there at that point, and maybe KYCA, we did see them kind of flicking up towards that A heaven, or that B heaven, sorry. So maybe was expecting, just with how long and how delayed Chewy was, maybe, you know, expected that. No, but just very delayed and very confident in your call, which had that been wrong, we would be on match point right now, but not quite then. Chewy as well with the knowledge. They've seen a lot of lurk-ups through mid, so I really do like the Cypher cage. Again, that is just a small adaptation, but it's one that you really love to see. The Razor Vine's going through, trying to prevent this tree push. We do see the lurk from who else but Lugia on that left side. If they can get a pick and then TP out, that's absolutely massive. We're going to have to see if they get cleared. There's the Vise wall is there as well. Ace0 picks him down. Destexy is finding KYCA as well in towards that tree, so that control is all for the Puffins. The Showstopper and Reckoning are online for the Ponies though.
To be fair, it doesn't even look like it's going to get used. Ace0 did find Kobe, and Ilya found Egner, and now LGPH in a 1v5. To be fair, Ace0 at 10 at 11, we're both neck and neck. Pit Ponies only need 2 rounds, but the Puffins need 3. This would be so devastating if you lose your grand final spot simply because you only managed to get 11 on the final map after having that 2 lead. That it all comes down to this, ladies and gentlemen. This actually might be the best comeback we'll ever see in the Well, if it gets pulled off, or if it's a fake comeback and they're wasting our time.
No fake comeback. I believe the 1917. I believe in the 1917. For anyone that doesn't know, recently, Lendoth, you might actually have the teams, but there was an overtime that ran 40 rounds, ending in 1917. So I'm thinking we're going to get that again. There's a lot of util, a lot of ults coming down.
All the util now coming down, popping it through, and it seems that the team has just gone quietly, walking down towards this B site. And the noise has come, and the tempo has completely changed. All being grabbed for that Armageddon, but they know that there's at least 2 people there, because they've probably seen on the scoreboard that is Egner that's grabbed it, and they can see that, you know, Chamber just shot the headhunter. Now walking back towards this, it looks like they're pivoting towards them, but KYCA, we cannot be leaving our post too early. This is getting a bit dangerous. It might have the read to do some C thing, but they do have the ults needed to do a retake. Lugia expecting someone to jump up. Molly's now. They're gonna re-clear Rebel, and the Astral's gonna come through. Kobe finding Chewy, but traded out nearly immediately by Ilya. Harbor ult coming through, and Rascal is gonna be found and taken down. Lugia taking Rascal down, and now a 4v3, and they're bolting it towards C. They're running back, but it doesn't seem that they got the read yet. The Stexy only walking, but they should hear the steps and the ult. They know of the Rolling Thunder. They are going to be aware of this, but it's too late. The ponies are already here.
Oh, the ponies are already here. The shear comes through, and you're not going to see the ult come through. KYCA has turned it on when he needs it, and Ilya, unfortunately, trying to believe some flank is coming through. There is no one in your backline, my friend. They are all on that site ready to take you down. The Arc Rose is going to get popped, doesn't find anyone just yet. The Salvo, of course, controlling all that space, and Ilya stepping into Lugia's sights. It's been a tough one, but the Pit Ponies are finally on match point.
This is a long series, ladies and gentlemen. This is taking us to the petal. To be fair, though, if we can actually even get this down, how can we even, you know, successfully break this? It is just getting really, really scary, especially if, you know, you're the ponies. You might be on 12, but overtime is only 2 rounds away.
Overtime is very scary, and we've seen it. All it comes down to at this point now, every decision is going to be massive. The macros are big, the micros are even bigger. We see the double showstoppers coming out. Both races have tried to pre-fire each other. Kobe's just better with it, unfortunately, for the side of Rascal. Ace0 at the very least with a good refrag. We do see the wall going up. Ace0 not immediately getting shut down though. Lugia, of course, though, will always be there for you when you need. And because of that now, 2 versus 3 for the Puffins. After the Rolling Thunder's going to get used to, not a single person on the ponies is going to be found, and that's going to tell you all the info you need if you're the ponies.
To be fair, not finding that, but look at this insta. They've already killed Cypher, so they're just going to do 2-man flank, trying to get the read that they'd lurk, but doesn't look like they'll get that read. The door's open, and KYCA can hear everything they do. However, they need to find a pick. KYCA needs to be disciplined enough to not want to go for that hero play. Everyone wants to be the hero, but let's just be real, we just want to win the game. So let's just make sure we coordinate. But the util here is fab. They have the, well, they did have the breach done. Now I'm kind of like, but look, they're hunting KYCA here. They know they need the kill. The Stexy, really nicely done. Will push it down, but I don't know if he saw 2. One more, 1v1. LGPH to win this game for them. Is he even going to stick this? Molly's coming through. He is going to tap, but wait, did he miss? Oh, he tried to get half, but now the pressure's getting to him. He tried to get half, but unfortunately couldn't stick it. And now 11-12 for the side of the Pit Ponies, 1 round away. Both teams have the good economy to back it, but can they secure it? Will Puffins get that overtime that they so desperately want, or are the Pit Ponies going to manage to close this out and shut off the Puffins' dream of getting into another final?
Ladies and gentlemen, place your bets. I have no clue. It is our job specifically to kind of give you the insight. I have no clue. Both teams have been playing absolutely phenomenally. If there's one thing to show you the power of Tejo, I believe Ilya just showed you there. We see the satchels, we see the module. Yep, the Razor Vine and everything's coming through. Rascal is losing some damage because of it, losing some health as well. Will immediately pop the other Thorns though. Not going to concern about that. They know LJBH is stuck in that corner. Never mind, he's going to be able to get out. This is a big fight for this A, but we do see Chewy with this slow will walk up. He doesn't have the crosshair placement, unfortunately. LJBH is going to drop him down. Gets 2. Tries to keep the spray going. Doesn't matter because KYCA is good for it. But Ace Zero firing back for 2 of his own. Meanwhile, Rascal still on this A main, dodging around the chamber ultimate. Or sorry, the Tejo. Meanwhile, Lugia, this timing is so pivotal. Unfortunately for you, Lugia, that is heartbreaking. And there doesn't seem to be a read though. Egner's going to have this tree control and they might get it for free. They hear the steps. Rascal and oh my days, my Ace Zero are trying to go for this. That looks like they're going towards B.
Going towards B with 45 seconds left on the clock. Egner, we've seen him pop off. We've seen how well they can do on this initiator role. But unfortunately, 2v1 now after LGBH did an amazing try. And they closed this round out and got so many picks, but Ace Zero just sprays him through the smoke and completely punishes any idea of it. Both of them now going to play in this spot. Can they even get this closed down? It looks like they're expecting some sort of play here. Pull on the bomb just in case the tap for Egner. This is spooky. I'm getting nervous.
So much util, both util on the line as well, and if there's one frag, then Armageddon comes online as well. So basically all util to mess around with. Egner immediately with the tap and the stun, but look at the patience that Rascal has. Egner has the read initially, but doesn't believe fully. Egner's going to tap it, and no, I think there's going to be no hold. Egner's going to try and initially hold it, tap it again. He's not prepared, surely. Rascal plays it, but steps! Oh my god! Because of that, it's going to come down to the wire. We don't know yet. No!
0.12, and that is managed to do enough to keep the Puffins into this game. Hit Ponies had a good opportunity to close that out that round, but unfortunately the time left on the bomb, and now we're in OT from what was a 10-2 half to another 10-2 half to the side of the Pit Ponies. I could not believe that for a second.
Holy! I don't know if I can swear on stream, so I'm not going to. But ladies and gentlemen, if I knew I could, I would be using some expletives. This is insane. Like, we'd mentioned that the Puffins and the Pit Ponies, this has been a, tried and tested and best of 3 that's been done again and again and again on the WEL, but neither team here want to let the other one walk away. This has been a set for the ages, to go 13-6, to then go 13-6, but just flipped with which team does which, and now to finish it off on Lotus with going into overtime. LJVH trying to get a really cheeky frag to start us off is going to do some serious damage to one of the members of the Puffins, and they are going to have to run away now. That is going to be Ilya play, taking some damage, but Kobe and Rascal just playing off each other. LJPH with the Odin shots, and the util is just being spammed out right now.
Oh no, but the Puffins, they're over-rotating. They're not believing it. They're forgetting this is structured. We're not going to just insta-commit. We're not going to play ranked. And now they are aware of the rotation and have to quickly rush back to site. But it does seem that they can beat them there. And they've managed to, they understand, and this is going to slow down. But we are in a 4v2. 4v3, ladies and gentlemen. Ilya hasn't got a lot of health left, so one of these gentlemen are going to have to make a hero play of some sort. Egner trying to find the trips, but Chewy, we talked about how he moves his trips around a lot, and it's going to be done. But shifting on site now, Ace Zero playing into the smoke. Can they find this trip, or can they find someone to get a pick on? Tag into the trip. Unfortunately, LGPH didn't expect it to be there, and in the smoke is Ace Zero. Are they aware? Oh my god, they've dropped down. They surely have heard this, right? They've definitely heard this.
Have they?
30 seconds.
They might not have. Oh my god, I think they believed Ace Zero was on top of the box, and they're now trying to rotate towards B. KYCA is going to shut it down, and now, oh, they're a little bit confused. Which side's it going to be? Is it B or is it C? It's going to be,
oh my god,
it's going to be B, but it doesn't matter whenever Chewy falls due to that as well. So now Ilya play, the one with the least HP, well, until everyone else died. Adapt or die now, you're only going to have a classic. You can't do that, surely. Lugia with the positioning is going to take down Ilya, and now the Puffin's got to do exactly what the Ponies just did, but in reverse.
Oh my god, okay. This is scary now. If you've done all of that to get 14-12 by Pit Ponies, Chewy, you need to have something ready for this. 2 Sentinels, Lugia has that op on standby, LGBH find the Phantom, and all these picks now relies on this round, and it relies on what they do, but they're going to go into Lugia's site. The op is ready. They're going to probably flash him off that angle, but if it's meant to be, they're going to find this pick.
And I will find out. I mean, we've seen it before. Yeah, the stun Lugia immediately being pushed off there, which does give you a bit of information. You've got, and they are playing that aggressively. They do believe that's enough to say there's only one Sentinel on C, and it is the one with very little utility since Chamber lost the second trademark, and now Lugia just trying to back off into Waterfall to join the rest of his team. Very good movement, managing to duck around the rest of the Puffin, or the Puffins just barely, but the spike's going to go down, and of all the things to happen, of course, it's a 5 versus 5 retake with everyone still on the board.
Everyone's on the board. It all matters now to find who gets the first kill. Trying to clear these angles, spraying, but Ilya wants to fight. You can see how desperate they are to fight. And unfortunately, Ilya is going to find Lugia, walks out of smoke, but Kobe is on site. 3, Rascal. This is going all towards the Puffins. Nothing they can do. This is just a perfect 5v5, and this is going to be a flawless 13-13 for the first round of OT.
Ladies and gentlemen, get comfortable. I feel like we're not going anywhere for a little while. I'm going to say that right now. Maybe either the Puffins or the Ponies force me to eat my words, but right now, this seems to be a complete tearaway. Lugia now realizing that, well, it is attack, so of course you don't really want to have the op as much on attack, but Lugia maybe realizing that, you know, the Puffins have been playing around, as you said, Lendoth. I mean, that initial stun, take all that space, and that push was just beautifully executed to get that flawless back. We're gonna be here for a while. Both teams are gonna bring each other to the absolute brink.
And if they could even keep this out, you know, if one team makes a mistake, because they're both teams are winning on that defense side, until one of them get an extra round of defense, that's when the pressure's gonna come through, you know. But right now, you know, it's neck and neck, so you're all happy. But realistically, since the Puffins are, you know, oh, what a flick onto Kobe, and that's going to start us off. Chewy has decided to just join in and take it into his own hands to play this. But they don't even know there's 2 people here. They've only seen 1. The E0 is on site. Oh, they're spraying him. He's done a lot of good tick damage, and A0 is going to find KY safe through the smoke. This could be the beginning of the end for the Pit Ponies. Their dreams of getting back into this final again. But Lugia is just going to try and cook something up. Unfortunately, doesn't have the TP on standby, but there's 3 people on this site. You have to fight. You have to find something. But unfortunately, isn't going to. Finds 1, but is it good enough? LGPH still has that Odin next to his name.
And so where the flash is coming through, it's a beautiful flash, and Rascal and Destexy are going to go off of it as well. LJPH falling as well. Is that enough? You did mention it had to go the way of the defense because these attack rounds were struggling, so maybe that's enough. We'll have to wait and see because, yeah, this has just been neck and neck, tug of war to the very end. We're starting now, 30 bombs are starting to drop with Lugia, LJPH back with him, 23. Every member of every team, though, has been pulling their weight, and I want to say that emphatically.
Yeah, to be fair to them, I mean, you know, what else can you do? But this is exactly where it matters. If we're going to, you know, try and even go for the record that the Pirates and the Puffins set, which is a 1917 game, we're going to have to see how this goes. And unfortunately, it doesn't even seem to be going very... Oh, no. Kobe, that is... You cannot die to that angle, Kobe. That is 1 now towards the Puffins, and they're starting to get this back. Puffins, all of it is coming down onto this Egner. Thorns, stopping them coming out.
Concuss comes through as well. They're trying to hop through each other. Rascal and Ace0 are just managing to be able to take this space despite the utility. Meanwhile, we do say LJPH looking towards that B. No info going to be found there though, and now you're down a man. The scan is going to be there, and Ace0, that's big actually. You're losing a lot of Astra utility for the meantime. Lugia now trying to take this control. All members of the Puffins are pushed into this back corner, which is pretty difficult. It doesn't matter if the frags are just going to go all that way, and Lugia, you're good, you're not that good. The Puffins take it 15-13 eventually. Very, very well played and a phenomenal series.
Wow, what a convincing finish to that game. That was insane. 10-2, you should be really confident, you know. On a final map, I don't know, something must have gone wrong, like just the confidence-wise, and everyone just breaks down. Egner had an amazing game, you know, everyone had a good game. Chewy just on that 22-17, dying a lot of times as Cypher, which is quite, you know, quite confusing because I was talking about strange plans gone well and strange playstyles going well, and there's always, you know, when you're playing against a complete unique playstyle to that player, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly, and just because now we've got a little bit, so at the minute there, just want to start out, so LJPH actually, so despite the fact Lugia with 30 kills, actually 3rd on the leaderboard. We've got LJPH, Chewy, and then Lugia on the top 3 spots there, respectively, just in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. LJPH, maybe this will clarify a little bit more, 5 First Bloods, which is terrifying from your only controller.
Yeah, to be fair, and that controller was going towards Harbor, which is a really, you know, good comp, but I guess the comp-wise, having someone like Breach there just completely tears it down, and it's stun off contact. I thought that, you know, the breach instead of just the the breach and the actual just difference between these, the double sentinel and only one, it's really hard to do stuff when you only have one initiator, which being Tejo. But if you maybe took out Lugia and put him on breach or something, that could have been easily convincing.
No, exactly, and that's it. But for the meantime now, that is going to put, of course, if we have a look, maybe the brackets and such haven't been updated just yet, but if we have, yes, we have indeed, and it will be Puffins and Pirates. That'll be next week for our big grand finals. As far as I know, it is still best of 3. I don't believe we've went up to any shenanigans like best of 5 just yet, even if, you know what, I'd be up for it. But yeah, any thoughts, Lendoth, on what we're looking at and what we could expect?
Well, these two teams did set the record for the highest and the most rounds in the game, which was 17-19 towards the side of the Pirates, which ended frantically. However, the Pirates managed to come back and they're meeting each other again. And we've seen only one game from the Pirates, which had, you know, some amazing shooters on their team. But it's going to have to come down and hope that people like A0 and Chewy are all showing up for this grand final.
Yeah, and I think that's really it. So yeah, for the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I think that has been all. It has been a phenomenal set. Check back next week at the same time for what will hopefully be one of the longest sets in possibly Well history, if we you know, repeat that again, and this time we'll see it on stream. Lendoth, any last words?
Come back next week and we'll see who the winner of Well 7 is. Thank you very much. Have a good day.